1887. Jeff, I found 1887.
1887. Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha.
13 and 14, 27, 127 years of football.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, let's see. What do you want to chat about for the? So, but you want to? I think we have to talk about Olivetto's not playing. So it means there. I think the first thing we have to discuss is that the daunting stretch of football is over. So I say we start with that, and then we talk about how Olivetto is not going to be playing, and then
The two things.
yeah,
I'd go Olivetto not playing, and
yeah,
Aaron can't
yeah,
play.
yeah, exactly.
And
I think that's a good point.
First thing Mike and I talked about is the first half of the schedule.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk. We'll talk about I'd say we talk about the first half of the schedule first, and then we talk about Olivetto not playing, and then probably address for Franklin Marshall 600 wins, and maybe do something with that, and then go to the interview. Does that work for you?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right. 9 hours on the recorder. I don't think we're going to go 9 hours. If we did, we'd probably set a record. Okay. So.
It's time for Green Terror Football on McDanielAthletics.com.
He's got room. 40, 30-yard line, makes another man miss. Blitz coming. McFall fires. It's tipped. It's in the air. It's caught by Hastings. And Hastings with the amazing catch.
Now let's head out to the stadium for the Green and Gold Kickoff Show.
And we welcome you to Spinaga Williamson Field in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where today the McDaniel Green Terror take on the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats. The Green Terror checking in 1-4, 0-4 Centennial Conference action, while the Diplomats 2-3 on the campaign and 1-3 in the CC. Welcome to our broadcast, everybody. Alongside John Seaman, Jeff Arnold here with you. John, this is really the start of the second half of the season after there was a conference-wide bye week last week. And the Green Terror are certainly hoping that this is going to be a little bit better second half than the first half was. In large part, they're happy because they faced a daunting first half schedule. They saw the likes of Moravian, Muhlenberg, Ursinus, and Gettysburg in the 4 weeks prior to the bye. Those teams that combined 17-8. The next four are 6-14. And so naturally just looking at those statistics makes you feel a little bit more comfortable.
There's no question about it. Now, McDaniel would like to start the second half the way they started the first half, and that would be with a victory. But they need to have taken advantage of the bye week and recognize that they didn't necessarily get healthy. There are some injuries coming off the bye week, but just to be fresh mentally. One of the things the Centennial Conference does that I think is absolutely outstanding is having the conference-wide bye. You're not interested in TV ratings, and you don't have to have a game every week the way the major colleges do to keep the networks happy. You do something that's reasonable for the players. And when they start with several weeks of preseason, play 5, get that bye week, they can get healthy from those nagging injuries. They can go back and regroup and come out for a really good second half to the season.
It's especially beneficial when you get that bye week, and it also is a chance to get back to basics. And that's what Mike Hoyt was saying that was at the top of his list of priorities this week, especially when you have a quarterback that's only making his second ever start today in Matty Callahan. Fortunately for him, and John, you mentioned the nagging injuries, he won't have his leading receiver to go to, and Mike Olivetto. He suffered an ankle injury towards the very end of the Gettysburg game 2 weeks ago, and he will not be in action today.
And it's certainly something that's going to be missed. On a team that has as few seniors as this one does, to miss a senior. On a team that has, 2 captains, to be missing a captain. And a team that has not put points on the board to be missing a guy that can go deep and catch the ball in traffic and score for you, they're missing a lot and missing Olivetta today.
Well, Massa Baylor will get the start in Olivetta's place. Meanwhile, one guy is coming back for Franklin and Marshall, and that is Aaron Fant, one of the starting quarterbacks for the Dips. He was a first-team preseason All-American, but he suffered a hamstring injury towards the very end of preseason. He only played his first game against Dickinson 2 weeks ago, but he is back in the lineup today, John. So it's kind of like you lose your best receiver and their best defensive back. Franklin and Marshall gets him back.
Yeah, that's not the combination the way you want the dice to roll for you, but that's what we've got today. And as we've looked at statistics, Franklin Marshall sits at the bottom of the statistical chart in pass defense. You add an All-American, and my guess is you're going to have a much better pass defense than you did prior to that.
This is a Franklin and Marshall team that has underachieved in the first half as they come in with only one win in Centennial Conference play. As I mentioned, they're just 2-3 on the season, and they're hoping to do a little bit better, especially considering they had 6 guys that were Centennial Conference, all-conference selections last season. Well, coming up on our pregame coverage, we will have a look at the starting lineups. John will also detail his keys to the game. But coming up next, Luke Stilson sits down with Mike Hoyt, and among other things, they detail how the first half of the season went and what they're going to be looking to improve in the second half. All that coming up before the kickoff at 1 o'clock here from Spinaga-Williamson Field, back after this timeout here on the Green Terror Sports Network.
NCAA Division III and the Special Olympics have partnered to improve the lives of Special Olympic athletes. This initiative is focused upon the involvement of Division III student athletes through service and support of the Special Olympics. To learn more about the partnership, go to NCAA.
We continue on the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. McDaniel and Franklin and Marshall here from Lancaster, PA. Sports Information Director Luke Stilson, joined as always by head coach Mike Hoyt. Mike, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Let's talk last couple weeks. Coming off the bye now, you guys have had a couple weeks to just practice. You always talk about bye week getting back into training camp mentality. Talk about how practice has gone the last couple weeks.
Yeah, we had a real good bye week. We went back to, like you said, a training camp mentality, back to focus on fundamentals. When you don't have to put a game plan together and worry about those types of things, you can really focus on the fundamentals. And I thought we had a real good bye week. We practiced pretty hard. We were real physical during the week and a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. So I was pretty excited about it.
And you talked a little bit, even post game on 2 weeks ago after Gettysburg, about kind of getting back to those fundamentals and really working hard on that, getting off blocks and tackling better. You've seen the improvement there from the defense in those regards.
Yeah, we're seeing improvement there. We put circuits in every day, during the week, even during game week, where we're working on those things, block destruction and tackling. And, it's about fundamentals, really. Schemes are, obviously you have to put schemes together, but, if you don't have the fundamentals within those schemes, it really doesn't amount to a whole lot.
We talked kind of going into 2 weeks ago, we talked about the first half schedule versus the second half schedule. You talked about going into Gettysburg, coming off back-to-back weeks against physical teams, and then Gettysburg, a very, very athletic team. Now, the second half of the year, the teams that maybe a little better matchups-wise, kind of, how you've approached that with the guys, especially going into F&M and a team that has struggled offensively.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I've stressed to our staff and stressed to our players is that we just continue to work hard and be positive and look at the things we have accomplished. And, during the bye week, I did have a chance to point out to them the schedule, the first half of our season, with the exception of Catholic, who we beat. The other teams were either one loss or undefeated.
Right.
I feel we've played the better teams in the conference with the exception of Hopkins. But other than that, we've played, probably 4 of the 5 best teams in the conference early on. So, and I pointed that out to them and told them that those are things that will pay dividends as we go into the second half of the schedule here. obviously, you can't overlook any opponent,
Right.
and we're not in no position to do that because we haven't had a whole lot of success yet. But I think just to create a little bit of enthusiasm and a positive outlook moving forward, there's some teams here in this stretch I think we can match up with. At least I hope we can physically.
Right. Let's jump back 2 weeks ago to the Gettysburg game. It was Matty Callahan's first start. Kind of got the whole game under his belt. Threw the ball well at times, but missed some things early. Talk about kind of what you saw during the game and then what he's been able to work on as the last 2 weeks have gone.
Yeah, being his first start and his first opportunity to go out and play, I thought he did do some good things. Made some nice throws and some nice reads. But then there's times where he struggled with some things too. Missed some throws and didn't get the right read in the run game and the pass game.
Right.
And we knew that going into it. When you start a young guy like that, there's going to be some growing pains. But I've felt that that's where we are as a program. We need to go with Matty, and we'll have to work through some things. There's going to be some growing pains because of his inexperience, but I think in the long run, he's going to be better for it, and we're going to be better for it as a program.
Yeah, and Gettysburg probably threw a couple of things. I know it was one 3rd and long found himself in, and Gettysburg dropped 8 guys back in a straight line. I'm not sure any young quarterback was really ready for that.
Yeah, even some of your more veteran quarterbacks would struggle with some of that stuff. So those are all part of those things are all part of the learning curve.
Let's start, saw the end of that game where Mike Oliveto went down, and he talked to the last couple of weeks. A couple of your upperclassmen receivers who kind of bumps and bruises here the last couple of weeks, and let's talk about opportunity now to some of those younger guys to step in this week with those guys not having really much of a chance to practice over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we actually and not just in the receiving core, but across the board, we have made some decisions with some younger guys. You're going to see a lot of younger guys play today. You're going to see Bamasa Baylor, a freshman, get his first start at receiver. You're going to see Zach Jones on the right side of our offensive line get his first start as a freshman at offensive tackle. We have same thing at the quarterback position going with Matty Callahan, a young guy. I just feel it's time now for those young guys that we've recruited over the last 2 years to get them on the field, and it's time for them to play and get experience and learn through some of this stuff.
Yeah, you'd be looking on the offensive side. You'd be looking at Matty Callahan, sophomore, didn't really play a lot last year though. Teja will be starting. Obviously, freshman there. You mentioned Bamasa. Now you get Zach and Vince is freshman on the offensive line.
Yeah, our whole right side, all freshmen.
So really, it's kind of Ted that's kind of really got to take the leadership role on that offensive line, especially, but really the offense in general. What he's kind of brought to the area.
Yeah, Ted's done a great job. He's the one veteran that we have over there, and we ask our center to make all the protection calls and all the adjustments when we see blitzes and different things in the front, and he really does an outstanding job with that. He's a real vocal guy to start with, and then his knowledge and experience of seeing those different things, he really is able to make sure we get on the same page. And I think we've done a good job in pass protection this year. We've done a pretty good job keeping our quarterbacks upright. So it definitely has shown.
Mm-hmm. So flip over to the defensive side. Obviously, we've talked about the injuries. Let's focus on the linebacking core a little bit. Obviously, Drew Scott's been that starter as a freshman. Richard Settle got a chance to see his first action. Jake Fernandez has been another freshman in the linebacking core who's come on as a freshman. About that youth in that linebacking core and what potential they have.
Oh, there's a ton of potential there, and you already mentioned Drew, who started every game for us as a freshman at linebacker, and really Richard got his first action last week because of injury. We thought he probably would be a starter, early on game, maybe 1, 2, or 3. Injury set him back. You're going to see a ton of him today. So we feel he'll be in a starting role very soon. And then Jake Fernandez, we were actually penciling him in to be the starter today at linebacker, but he's had a little bit of an ankle injury, so I'm going to limit his action today. But there's 3 guys right there that we feel, in the next couple of weeks will probably be our 3 starters, going through the end of the season.
You got a sophomore in Matt Quattrone, who has been limited a little bit the last few weeks in injury too. He's another one of those young guys that linebacking core.
Absolutely. He's he's a neat young man in the fact that he's so intelligent in terms of his knowledge of the game of football and his enthusiasm. Obviously, his dad being the defensive coordinator at Dickinson, I think he's grown up in a football family, so he understands the game and what it takes to be successful. And it shows when he gets out on the field.
Defensive line also kind of, we've seen some young guys in there. Really, maybe by virtue of necessity, and probably play some of those young guys. Hunter Metcalf is one of those guys that's in there. Cortez, those guys. Talk about kind of them, and I know Coach Sherman said he's starting to get some of his guys back now from injuries that they've suffered throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, there's been a few injuries over there, but if you look at it, there's no senior defensive lineman on this roster. And we have
defender.
Yeah, there's no senior defensive player on the roster, but we do have a junior, Martre, yes. Cashin. Yeah. He's our lone junior there, but he's been injured. Now we were able to get him back here with the bye week and everything. He's practiced some, so we're gonna see Martre a little bit now. But he's the only junior we have on that defense. Everybody else is sophomores and freshmen. So, they keep getting better every single week. Coach Furman does a great job working with those guys and their fundamentals. I'm excited to see them continue to grow over the next few months.
Touch briefly on special teams, kind of in the punt return game. Really, for the first time, opportunity for Akil to actually return a couple punts. So I probably saw part of that gave him the ball that he could actually return. So some good moves on punt returns.
Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete, very dynamic. He gets the ball in his hands, and it's nice to see kick the ball. He could have a chance to make something happen. And we've been working really hard with our return team, and our different returns, trying to create some speed. Doesn't need a whole lot of space, but when you do get a little bit, you do something.
Let's fast forward ahead down to F&M here and really kind of set the tone for the second half of the season. Head coach Mike Hoyt joining me on the Green and Gold kickoff show here on McDanielAthletics.com. McDaniel and Franklin Marshall here in Lancaster. Let's talk about F&M. They haven't been lighting the scoreboard up on offense. And obviously they've gone to the freshman at quarterback as well now. Let's talk about what we see from them offensively.
Well, they're the one thing that stands out on their offense is Jordan Zachary, number 7, wide receiver. He's a senior. He's great thing now. They're going to throw the ball to him out of the slot. They're going to do some screen stuff to try to get him in space, matched up with our perimeter defense. So we got to do a really good job corralling him when he's out in space, taking good angles in pursuit, and doing a great job of tackling. They do have a young quarterback, but they do a good job with their system. Coach Troxell's a great offensive mind, and they don't ask him to do more than what he's capable of. So he'll manage the game very well. He's a little more athletic, so we may see some quarterback runs, some options. And then the other thing, their left tackle, Ignatovic, I think is how you pronounce the name, but he's a returning starter, all-conference player there. So, they have some size on the offensive line. I would expect that, they run to his side a little, especially when they need tough yards.
Right, let's talk about their defense a little bit. Kind of, I guess, maybe where you see you can kind of attack the defensive end. They're not, they haven't been all that solid against the pass, but they've also played as well.
Yeah, they've got a new defensive coordinator. Their philosophy is a little different. Watching them on film, they're more of a read and react style of defense. They're going to a 4-man front as opposed to more of a 3-man front, and they're not as much of a blitz team as they used to be. So their philosophy has changed, but they put some, with that 4-man front, they put some beef up front. So we're going to have to win the football. They'll give you a good mix of zone and man coverage. So have to do a really good job of recognizing coverages from the receiver standpoint, the quarterback standpoint, and communicating those checks in our route running, so that we have the right concepts versus man, concepts versus zone. I think if we can do that, we can take advantage. show. But it's it's going to be up to us to read it, recognize it, and communicate.
The first game of the second half, and got kind of the stretch of 4 teams now. Matchup. I think we get the opportunity to really see what they can do, and really the point of the year where freshmen aren't freshmen anymore. Yeah, we start playing that way.
Yeah, we're hoping. Now some of these young guys had season to play, some trial by fire. Hopefully that tough first half of the schedule pay off here for us in the second half.
Coach Mike Clayton, my guest on the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Continue now. We'll get you back to Jeff and John. They'll get you set for kickoff right here on McDanielAthletics.com.
Do you know what the McDaniel College community calls the youngest person ever to argue before the Supreme Court? A news anchor, TV host, wildlife conservationist, cutting-edge biomedical researcher, video game designer, Hollywood producer, best-selling author, and winners of an Emmy and a Pulitzer Prize. We call them alumni. No wonder our alumni achieve greatness. A top-tier liberal arts college that changes lives, McDaniel College offers each student a customized and personal liberal arts education supported by faculty-staff collaboration with leadership and service opportunities. McDaniel is the best bang for the buck, according to Washington Monthly, and recognized as the best value by Kiplinger's Personal Finance. Come see for yourself. Check out McLive, our online calendar at mcdaniel.edu for upcoming events, performances, exhibitions, lectures, and more that are free and open to the public. Again, to learn more, visit mcdaniel.edu or call 410-857-2230 to schedule a campus visit.
To the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. We are about 5 minutes away or so from the opening kickoff here alongside John Seaman, Jeff Arnold here with you. If you want to be part of the vibrant McDaniel College community, schedule a visit and don't forget to apply early. Our early action deadline is November the 1st and December the 1st are quickly approaching. Call the admissions office at 800-685-5005 to be connected to your personal admissions counselor. At McDaniel, you can expect the exceptional. Well, we're about to have the coin tossed in just a couple of minutes. Franklin and Marshall captains are lined up along the near sideline, while over on the far side, some of the McDaniel players have begun to assemble. One of the captains is over there. That's Brandon Jones talking with one of the officials. And John, you look at the lineup that Mike Hoyt's going to put out there today, and as he said with Luke Stilson a moment ago, you can expect a lot of young guys to be starting today, and really that's what it's going to be in the second half of the season.
And there's no question about that. Coach talked about the linebackers, and when we talk about the freshman class, the first person you have to talk about is Drew Scott. Drew Scott is the leading tackler on this team and the leading freshman tackler in the conference. He's an outstanding player, demonstrated that in game one where he had 2 interceptions and was really instrumental in leading them back to that victory. And then you add to that Jake Fernandez, local Carroll County product, and then Richard Sutton, who had probably been projected as either a starter in game 1, 2, or 3 until he had a hamstring injury. He's not on the roster to start today, but we're going to see him on the field. Unfortunately, Fernandez tweaked an ankle. We're probably not going to see him. But within the next couple of weeks, we're going to see the 3 of them together on the field and recognizing that right now, as we're watching the coin toss, we only see one captain out there, Oliveto injured, and the captain is a linebacker. And it's likely that one or all of these freshmen are going to surpass the senior captain, and that indicates that he's pretty good.
Well, he just finished the coin toss. Brandon Jones was the only captain that went out there, and Daniel has won the toss, and they have elected to receive, and that is the first time they will be receiving John all year. So maybe something different will change the McDaniel fortunes a little bit. The Green Terror are looking for their first conference victory today. And right now, we will pause for a moment for the playing of our national anthem.
I will stick this in. Let's hope it's the only kickoff return they receive all day.
There you go. And we're ready for football here from Spinaga Williamson Field in Lancaster. Jeff Arnold and John Seaman here with you. And as McDaniel will receive the opening kickoff for the first time this year, John, let's get your keys to the game. What will McDaniel need to do to get that first conference win?
Oh, really pretty simple. Score early. Have not had a lead in any game except game one, and that lead didn't come until late fourth quarter. Avoid turnovers. You turn the ball over, you just make it extremely difficult to win. Create turnovers. They haven't created a turnover in 50 quarters. Callahan needs to grow as a quarterback. He needs to see the field better. He needs to find the receivers and avoid the turnovers. And finally, they need to set up the running game. They need to do that by being successful passing.
Absolutely. Matty Callahan will be making his second career start today. Made his first one 2 weeks ago against Gettysburg. Anna Ryan will be teeing things up for Franklin and Marshall. McDaniel's in their white uniform, the green pants, below, along with the green lettering across the front, as well as the green numerals, green helmets as well. Franklin and Marshall in royal blue uniforms with white lettering, black pants, and somewhere the high socks, like Ryan, who approaches the tee. It's an end-over-end kick. We are away and running as he is taken up at the 10-yard line, across the 25, and then across the 30-yard line as the opening kickoff is taken by Sean Montgomery, and it'll be up at the 32-yard line where things will get started for McDaniel today. Matty Callahan's the quarterback, left tackle's Riley Johnson, Marshall Brown's the left guard. Ted Gramiak is the center. Vince Gorgoni's the right guard. Zach Jones is the right tackle. Nick O'Mealia is the split end. Mike Oliveto out, so Bamasa Baylor gets the start. At the other wide receiver position, Tayod Campbell's the tailback. Taylor Wagner's the fullback. So first down and 10 from the 32, ball in the middle of the field. And there is a handoff that will go towards the right side, and this one will probably yield just about a yard or two, as Tayod Campbell gets the carry. Last week had 2 weeks ago, 12 rushes for 31 yards against Gettysburg.
Now, the running game has a little bit for McDaniel, and my opinion at this point is we throw the ball, get the ball in the air, set the running game up by being successful passing.
Second down and 9 from the 34-yard line. Callahan out of the shotgun. 3 men spread out to the far side left of the field. There's a quick hitter over that way, and it will go for a loss.
Green Terror moving left
down
to right.
Beyond the 30-yard catches, taken down beyond the 30-yard line, so they'll go for a loss of 4 on the play, set up a third and 13.
That pass was complete. The quick screen out to the outside. The wide receiver missed the block. And you've got to get that initial block, scrape off the defender so the receiver has a chance to get to the outside.
Well, that'll help the completion percentage.
Third down and 13, no score, with 13:40 to go in the first quarter. 3 men spread out to the near side right of the field. There's a shotgun snap, and flag is down. The pass is thrown low and incomplete, intended for Nick O'Mealia.
Looked like a wide man on the right side of the field defender. Jumped offside, but you always have to work that off.
John Ponzurek is our referee today, and John Seaman in the only game you and I have done together. It has been John Ponzurek who has been the referee.
All right. John Ponzurek.
Very vocal.
I remember.
And it'll be an offsides penalty. Said it was number 18 for Marshall, and there is no number 18. They must have gotten the jersey number wrong. Either way, they'll try it again on third down and 8.
Yeah, it was definitely the defensive right, the offensive left that he jumped offsides.
Third down and 8 from the 35. There's a screen over on the left side, and it will yield probably 1 or 2 yards, but it will not be enough for the first down, and McDaniel is 3 and out on their first drive from scrimmage. Tayod Campbell was the one that made the short catch for only a gain of about 2.
You know, I'm always looking for the bright side. 3 and out, but they threw the ball twice, and both of them were complete. Either one of them gained much in the way of yardage. The second was better than the first, but need to get this punt away, get some good coverage.
Brett Haas, punter, averages at 33 yards a punt this year. He sends an end-over-end kick that will take a bounce at the 30-yard line, and Zachary will let it roll down to the 20-yard line. So overall, a good kick. So Franklin and Marshall will begin business at their own 20-yard line. Their starting lineup looks like this, right into television.
20-yard line. 33 yards,
the left guard. He's the center. Malik Bowler is the right guard. Frank Seitz, the right tackle. Jordan Zachary, the wide receiver. The other wide receiver counterpart is Paul McGann. A.J. Collins, the fullback. Talib Gerald's the tailback. And Zachary Bradley, just a freshman from Catawasca, New Jersey, is the quarterback. He works out of the shotgun. 5 receivers set, empty backfield. He throws one out to Zachary. It is caught up at the 20-yard line, and it will go as a loss of 1. Rob Martin, who had 2 tackles against Gettysburg 2 weeks ago, is there for the stop.
So we see the quick screen. Saw 2 of them out of McDaniel. First play from scrimmage, same thing from the Diplomats. And to this point, both defenses have been able to answer. That's held for no gain. Actually, a loss of about 1.
No score, 12-15 go the first quarter, 3 receivers set. Single man in the backfield, and a handoff will pick up 2. And there it was Talib Gerald who got the call. Gerald, 15 rushes for 40 yards against Dickinson last week. And you talk about seeing freshmen on the McDaniel side. Well, Gerald, 5'6" freshman out of Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey.
We've read the stats. He runs the ball well, but it's nice McDaniel placing him into a 3rd and 9 on their first opening series.
F&M needs to get to their own 30-yard line. 3 receivers to the far side right, 1 man to the near left. There's the shotgun snap to Bradley. Rolls out towards his right, looks downfield. He's going to keep it himself. He has the first down and more as he takes it out to the 31-yard line. So picks up 10 yards and moves the change for the Diplomats.
At that time, they accounted for all the receivers, but didn't account for the quarterback. I think it was intent to throw the ball, but he sees people up and in the man-to-man defense, dropping off the line of scrimmage. He's got room to run.
Key for F&M has to be 3rd down complete as well, John. They're only at 36.5%. There's a handoff coming towards the left side. It's Lavalva, and Lavalva will take it out to the 39-yard line. So Lavalva picks up 8.
The key when you're trying to run wide is there's always a defender that is his assignment is setting the corner. At that time, the offensive man was able to get to the defender, keep him to the ground. The corner was not set, and Lavalva picks up 8 yards.
Receivers to the far side right, 1 to the near left. Pistol set here for Bradley. Sets up 4 yards behind his line of scrimmage. Steps in, pace closer, takes the shotgun snap. Pocket holds up. Now he dumps it short, and it is incomplete. Intended for Gerald at the 40-yard line.
So we've got another 3rd down. McDaniel was able to force them to a 3rd down. They were able to quarterback scramble and get the first down. I think I had said it was 2nd and 8. It's actually was 2nd and 3, so we've got a 3rd and 3 here. McDaniel with a chance to get the offense back on the field if they can come up with a stop.
Franklin Marshall, it's a multiple type of offense. There'll be some elements of spread in it. They have 3 men to the far side. He jumped initially into the neutral zone, but the ball wasn't snapped. 1 man to the near side left for the Dips. Shotgun snap taken by Bradley, goes over the middle. The pass is caught at the 45, and then it'll be taken down to the 45-yard line by Paul McGann. McGann, the 6'1 senior out of Havertown, Pennsylvania, and he's tied for the lead in receptions per game at about 7, and he is tied with his teammate Jordan Zachary. McGann and Zachary is really where this F&M offense gets started.
Yeah, when we looked at the stats, those 2 receivers had all 5 yards of their receiving yardage. You need to keep them covered up. You also need to get some pressure on the quarterback.
First down and 10. Ball inside McDaniel territory. They throw it to McGann again, and he will pick up about 4.5 or 5 yards on that catch.
A nice job of keeping him in front of the defensive backs, but the cushion was a little bit too big. The ball covered a lot of ground in the air. The defensive back was able to make up most of it, but still the catch is made for about a 6-yard gain. 5-6.
It'll be second down and 5, they'll call it. Ball on the 39-yard line of McDaniel. No score here in the first quarter. The Diplomats are going right to left. Split back. There's a handoff to Lavalva. Now he's going to throw. Looks downfield. Was at Gerald at the 10-yard line, but the pass was overthrown. So Franklin and Marshall tried to put a little trickery in their offensive possession. Lavalva had the man he was looking for, but he threw it a little past his grasp.
The old halfback pass, and Lavalva had time to set up and throw the ball. He rushed it a little bit more than he had to. Threw it to the outside shoulder. The receiver was looking to the inside shoulder, and as the receiver tried to spin to find the ball, was not able to find it. The ball falls to the turf. We get our third down.
That would have been an easy one.
The third down and 5.
Play for McDaniel defense.
Them outside of field goal range. There's the snap back to Zachary. Back to the QB looking for a man over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Drew Scott was there to defend, and so that'll set up a fourth down. And so that one play, Franklin and Marshall, John Seaman, if this ends up being a 7-point win for McDaniel, that's one they're going to look back on and like, yeah, we should have had that.
That one got away. It was.
This could be interesting. It is windy out there
They
today.
had a
Just off the fingertips.
uncovered. Halfback was not able to get him the ball, but we're in a punting situation here.
Swirling wind again here today.
It'll be kicked away. There is a spiraling kick. A fair catch is called for at the 10-yard line. Montgomery will take it. It comes out of his hands, and he's not able to hold on to it, but the ball went out of bounds. Fortunately, that could have been disastrous.
I think I'm going to see a violation on McDaniel. I believe they signaled fair catch and then went forward after the ball hit the ground, touched the ball. This is going to be half the distance to the goal, would be my guess.
That'll be a delay of game is what they rule it in a case like that. And so McDaniel will be pushed back a little bit farther in their own territory.
And the ball's marked at about the 8 right now. Probably going to
back to was ready to jump on the football, but
Inside. After 5 yards, I think it was half the distance. After the defense. Hey, look at that, McDaniel.
You might be able to tell it's a little windy out there.
And it's not going to get better, I don't think. Now, that time, Montgomery, I think, just had a complete understanding of the rules. He signaled fair catch. He knows if he makes the catch, he can't advance. The ball hits the ground, and he didn't recognize that he is still encumbered by the fair catch signal. He cannot try to advance the ball.
So what it means is because the foul occurred at the 8-yard line, they'll mark it half the distance to the goal. The Green Terrors' second drive will start from their own 4, 0-0, with 8:34 left to go here in the first quarter. Callahan will work out of a shotgun. He's got one man towards his right, 2 receivers to the near side of the field, 1 to the far side of the field. Callahan will hand it off, and there's some room for Teod Campbell. Campbell bringing it across the 30-yard line, and Campbell with a big run, a first down. That's a gain of 26 yards for Teod Campbell. And that nearly equals his output from 2 weeks ago against the Bullets, where he had 12 rushes for 31 yards.
It's nice to see him break into the clear a little bit. It's been a while since we've seen that. I'm going to guess that is probably his longest run this year.
There's a shotgun snap. There's a throw across the middle caught by Bamasa Baylor, and Baylor will pick up a first down as he gets it out to the 41-yard line. So a gain of 11 after a big run by Campbell, and then Bamasa Baylor making his first start today gets the catch on the sling.
and consecutive first downs. It's been a while since we've seen that. They moved from their own 40-yard line out to the 41, so between the two plays, gain of 37 yards.
Split back formation for Callahan, who works in the gun. 2 men to the right, 1 to the left. This is an option keep, and Callahan will not get anything out of this one. Steve Elf, middle linebacker for Franklin and Marshall, is there on the tackle. He had a tackle for loss and a sack against Dickinson 2 weeks ago.
Not sure how much of a read play that is, how much it's predetermined. I'm going to guess that the fake to the initial back is predetermined, and then it's a read whether the quarterback carries the ball or pitches it to the trailer. And he chose to keep the ball. The defender was in a position where the pitch would have been more.
3 receivers set for Callahan, who works in the gun with Campbell to his left. 2 receivers right. Shotgun snap is taken. Looking over the middle. What a catch by Bamasa Baylor. Taking it down to the 41-yard line. A one-handed grab by Baylor. They'll mark him down to the 44-yard line, but still, what a catch that Baylor made.
Baylor extended that big right hand, pulled the ball back in as he's being brought to the ground. One-handed catch, just outstanding. Easy to see why he's on the field today.
11-yard catch and a 15-yard catch, and the Green Terror moved the chains. Trying for their first score in the first half. Didn't have one in the last 2 ball games. A shotgun snap handed off to Tayod Campbell, racing it up the middle. Campbell trying to get to the 35. He'll get to the 37, where he'll pick up 7 yards on that play. And John, you talk about improving on third down. You may not get to third down the way that McDaniel is approaching this drive, which I would say has been probably the best first half drive we've seen in the last few weeks.
I've seen every game except the Gettysburg game. And without a doubt, of the 5 games, including this one that I've seen, this has been their best drive of the season.
Second down, we'll call it 3. 2 receivers to the near side right, 1 man to the left, tight to the formation. Split backs again for Callahan. Works out of the shotgun, takes it back, looks for throw, pressure comes, and the pass is incomplete. Nico Amelia was the safety valve, not able to make the catch underneath.
And worth noting that was first incomplete pass. The first 4 passes were all completions. Passes 1 and 2 were the quick screens. 3 and 4 were more downfield. This one was on a scramble, and it falls to the ground. We've got McDaniel's second third down. They're at about the 38-yard line. They need to cross the 35 to get the first down.
They were unsuccessful their first time. Trips left, 1 man to the right. There's a slot to the left. Campbell in the backfield, left of Callahan. Flag flies. Callahan takes the snap, and he'll pick up 1. This will be, looks like it's going to go against Franklin and Marshall, maybe another offsides.
And the defensive right jumped again, and we're able to get the snap off while he's still offside. We've seen McDaniel jump into that neutral zone 2 or 3 times on the Diplomat series, but the ball wasn't snapped.
That's one way to convert a third down. Automatic first down for McDaniel.
So the 4th first down in this series, 1 by run, 2 by pass, and 1 by penalty. Daniel gets 4 more tries from about their 32-yard line.
Second time that F&M has been penalized. McDaniel has it at the Diplomats' 32-yard line. Nothing with 5:24 to go in the first. 2 men to the right, 1 to the left. Campbell to the right of Callahan this time. And it's Campbell that gets the handoff, running towards his left. He continues to pile drive, and he'll get down to the 27-yard line. So a pickup of 5 yards, and when Campbell has been getting the football today, he's had a look of determination in his eye. I don't think any of his runs have gone for less than 5 yards.
He's doing a nice job running the ball. The play takes him across the formation, but he's able to heat up. The offensive line has been able to create a corner. He picks up 5 on that, 2nd and 5.
Very least, you're getting a lot closer to field goal range for Spencer Wiersberg. Split back formation for Callahan. 2 men right, 1 to the left. It's a keeper for Callahan. Runs it up the middle, and Callahan will pick up a first down to the 21-yard line. And we can expect to see a lot more of that read option from Callahan, who, remember, Mike Boyd came into 3 weeks ago in the second quarter of the Ursinus game.
Sold it pretty well.
Came in Ursinus game, played the second half, got a little bit more time. Well, got the full game at Gettysburg, and then got the bye week where he had 2 weeks of practice, and the quarterback position is his at this point.
The 20-yard line. Campbell takes the handoff, and he'll pick up probably 1 or 2 yards. It'll depend on where forward progress is marked, and they'll say Campbell will just get a yard.
So we've got a 2nd and 9. A little bit of personnel change here.
Franklin and Marshall, the way they communicate defensive changes, they hold a different number of pieces of paper in the air just to indicate what type of defensive alignment they're going to be in. 2 men to the right, 1 to the left for McDaniel. John Chamberlain, they fake the handoff to him. Callahan keeps it, and Callahan will not pick anything up. He's stopped at the line of scrimmage. It was a good sell on the handoff to Chamberlain, but Callahan trying to come in from behind, not able to get anything, and there's a 3rd down and 9.
3rd and long 9. And with the wind, I'm not sure if you throw an incompletion, you'll be talking about a 37, 38-yard field goal, and that's going to be, I think, a pretty long field goal for McDaniel. My guess is incompletion, they're going to go for it on 4th down. But let's hope it's complete. We won't have to bother with that.
Trips left for the Green Terror, 1 man to the right. Callahan in the gun with.
Hasn't done a lot as far as running.
Here's the snap. Blitz comes from F&M. Callahan has to unload quickly, throws over the middle, and the pass is incomplete in the end zone. It was intended for Britton Hastings, another one of those young guys that you'll see a little bit more frequently, as Mike Hoyt was saying in our pregame conversation. And McDaniel will be going for a field goal attempt here.
I like the touch on that pass. Obviously didn't go for the completion, but Callahan had the ball up floating, gave the opportunity for the receiver to get the hand on it and potentially pull it in.
Snap, spot, kick, and it is blocked.
It's a live ball. It's a live ball.
And it is picked up by Franklin and Marshall at their own 5-yard line and taken to the 10. It was Mike Casper that came on the field goal attempt, as Casper gave it a try from 37 yards, but it was a low kick and blocked. And so Franklin and Marshall, despite a drive that had a lot of promise, doesn't get any points out of it.
One of the things, it tells you how important field position is. They had a 11-play drive, covered 76 yards, but unfortunately no points. Reason for the no points is because they started on their own 4 and not on their 30. And
F&M will have it on their 9-yard line. It's Scott LaValva running towards his right, and LaValva will probably pick up about a yard on the play. Scott LaValva, senior out of Bangor, Maine, had 57 yards rush against Dickinson, and he averaged 8 yards a carry against the Red Devils 2 weeks ago.
Bangor, Maine. He moved south to play ball.
Yeah, okay. Bangor, PA, I should say.
Okay.
Bangor, PA. Yeah,
all right.
Not Bangor, Maine. So they're spelled the same way. Here comes it's a keeper, as Zach Bradley tried to run towards his left and was not able to get anything out of it. And so it'll be 3rd down and 10. They'll say that he lost a yard on the play.
Matt Quattrone, I think, was on the tackle there. Did a nice job of reading, staying home, and limiting that quarterback. In fact, he lost a little bit of yardage.
Quattrone getting the start today over Claude Michael Richardson. Quattrone, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Of course, Carlisle is where Dickinson is located. That'll be the team that next week.
And Quattrone's father is a coach for the Carlisle team, for that Dickinson team.
3 receivers set, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. There is a dump pass that's coming over the left side at the 30, and it is going to be at the 45-40 and down to the 38-yard line. It's Talib Gerald with a big gainer. And so Campbell, who got a big one for tackle that helps spark their second offense drive, and now Franklin and Marshall gets a big play by Gerald.
And that screen pass, they just pulled the
Daniel,
from McDaniel
37.
too deep into the offensive backfield. There was
53-yard
one player
run for
that could have
Tolly.
broken down and possibly slowed that thing down. Went for the tackle himself, and it was not quite off to the races, but pretty darn close.
Gerald won't get anything out of this carry, though. They'll say that he got probably 2 yards on that play after he had 53 on the play before.
So the most effective play that the Dips have been has been their third down. Statistically, coming into the game, third down had not been good to them, but they've done a nice job on third downs against McDaniel so far this afternoon.
Score, this will be the final play of the quarter. 5 seconds left. Bradley takes the shotgun snap, rolls towards his left. He will keep it, and he will be taken down at the 29-yard line as the first quarter comes to an end. Drew Scott helped out on that tackle, and we will take a timeout. So either side scores in the first quarter. We'll head to the second. It is nothing between Franklin Marshall and McDaniel here on the Green Terror Sports Network.
NCAA Division III student-athletes follow their passion and discover potential in the pursuit of academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating in highly competitive athletic programs. Division III student-athletes dedicate themselves to become successful citizens and responsible leaders. Division III, discover, develop.
One game that happened yesterday, John Top.
Second quarter about to get underway from Franklin and Marshall. There is no score between the Diplomats and the McDaniel Green Terror. Alongside John Seaman, Jeff Arnold here with you. Take a look at some of the stats so far. Franklin and Marshall has outgained McDaniel 103-70 overall, though McDaniel has a bit of an advantage in the rushing yard department. So far, 5 first downs for the Green Terror, 3 for the Diplomats, who are celebrating their homecoming and their family weekend today. Next week will be homecoming in Westminster, John, and I know you're excited for that.
I am. Let's hope there's not too much of a celebration here.
It's 3rd down and 2. Gerald gets the handoff. He'll be close to the sticks. Based on where the line judge is coming in, he is right at the sticks, maybe even a little bit in front of it. And they'll say a first down. There's the official signal from referee John Punzorek. But Franklin and Marshall is able to move the chains. McDaniel had a great chance in their last drive. They were able to take it all the way down to the F&M 19-yard line, but the field goal attempt was no good. It was blocked. Mike Casper came on for the field goal, and it was blocked, so no score at the moment. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left for F&M, going left to right now. Gerald started towards his right, and he is dragged down at the 24-yard line on the play. And John Troxel looks like he might have been arguing for a horse collar tackle.
I'm not sure they're going to get that. Maybe a falling.
Wrapped up from behind. That was Kendall the guy out there. It looks like the flag comes in. This might be a.
The line judge and John Punzorek sorting it out. Here's the call. So that's Matt Quattrone, who they get it on. As Quattrone called for unnecessary roughness, and that's a big penalty against McDaniel, one of the most penalized teams in the Centennial. I mean, an automatic first down for F&M.
What I saw there is Quattrone was coming in, and we're on a grass field. He lost his footing. He did hit the runner as he was on the ground. It was a matter of just losing his footing as opposed to spearing him while he was there.
First down and 10 from the 12-yard line of McDaniel. Gerald moves from left to the right of Bradley, who has a design rollout right, looks for the end zone. The pass intended for Zachary. Along the far pylon, Luke Fernandez, the junior, was there in coverage.
Gerald in the backfield.
So the Diplomats coming up on the 9th play of this drive. The big play was the screen pass, but they have had 3 first downs, one of them on the screen pass, one on the ground, and one by penalty. We've got a 2nd and 10 from about the 12-yard line.
Franklin Marshall was penalized twice in the first quarter, while Al against Quattrell, the first time that McDaniel had been flagged. 2nd down and 10. 5 receivers set, empty backfield. Bradley takes the low snap, back to throw, pressure coming, and he won't get out of the ground. Lost the ball, it's loose. Who's got it? McDaniel thinks they've got it, and they do, as it is recovered in the defensive backfield by Eddie Kendall, the Point Pleasant, New Jersey junior. He comes up with the ball, and there's a takeaway for McDaniel, as that is their first takeaway in 16 quarters.
Let's see if they can take advantage of it. The 23-yard line is not, fantastic field position, but it sure beats the 4.
So McDaniel will take over on their own 23-yard line. Scoreless game. A good start to the third quarter for the Green Terror. Handoff comes to John Chamberlain running towards his left, and Chamberlain will take it up to the 29-yard line on the play.
Looking at that play, if you're a pro football fan and you watch either the Redskins or the Ravens and you see what they call the stretch play, that's pretty much what you're seeing here. Zone blocking on the line, the back going across the formation, he sees a gap, then he cuts back into it.
2 receivers to the far side right of the field on 2nd down and 4 from the 29-yard line of the Green Terror. Single man to the left, it's Montgomery. Callahan looks, throws over the middle, pass is caught by O'Melia at the 45-40, down the far sideline, and he'll be taken out inside the 40-yard line. As O'Melia got on his horse, made a catch along the far sideline, and those big plays helping McDaniel out here really going.
Throwing the ball underneath. And that wasn't a little 3-yard pass, and it also wasn't a pass that's trying to hit the home run going down the field, but it was an underneath pass. Let the receiver catch the ball and then make something happen after he catches.
A 37-yard catch by O'Melia, 1st down and 10. Chamberlain in the backfield, 3 receivers set. Chamberlain's got the handoff. He's got some room up the middle. Cuts to the far sideline. He's at the 20-yard line, and he will be forced out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
So we've got consecutive first downs again. It's been a long time since we've seen that twice in one ball game. Chamberlain, impressive as he's carrying the ball straight ahead, and he makes the cut to his right, a little jump cut to the right, picks up another 6-7 yards, and then makes that second jump cut to the right.
27-yard run for Chamberlain. 1st down and 10. Ball is on the 11-yard line of F&M. High snap. Campbell loses the football. It is scooped up, and there it will be going back to Franklin and Marshall as it's taken out near the 30-yard line. So the Diplomats giveth, and the Diplomats take it away. McDaniel recovered the fumble. They give it right back.
27-yard line.
Twice. 2 consecutive plays, the snap was not fielded well by the quarterback. Whether it was high or just what was wrong, I'm not sure. First time he was able to get it to the running back cleanly. This time, didn't get it to the running back. The running back was still juggling a little bit as he got to the right corner, got hit, the ball ends up on the ground.
So each team with a takeaway apiece. Franklin and Marshall set up shop at the McDaniel 27-yard line. No score. Bradley in the gun with 3 receivers right, 1 left, and a bubble screen. It's to Zachary over on the far sideline. Zachary across midfield, cuts to the near sideline across the 45-40, 35-30, and he will be pushed out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. A late flag of flying. He has a chance to go. Now.
That flag is going to be at the end of the play. The play's going to count, but see what the
and so another half the distance, the goal penalty. They'll get this on Eddie Kent. And so Franklin and Marshall will be able to tack on just a little bit more after that big catch by Zachary. And Mike Coit said earlier that Zachary is public enemy number one for McDaniel just because he can do that type of thing with the bubble screens. He's got tremendous speed.
Yeah, and then you took a bad situation with that long pass and made it worse with the penalty.
Oh, there they set up the same play. It's caught by Zachary, and he'll only pick up 2 down to the 9-yard line. It's Kendall on the tackle.
Had a difficult situation here for the Terror with the first down on the 11. Fortunately, only gave up 2 on this game, so we've got a second and 8 from the 9.
The first catch by Zachary went for 62 yards, by the way. Second down and 8. There's a handoff. It goes to LaValva over the right side, tries to cut it back inside. The referee throws a flag in.
And that's almost always holding. We were talking about that before the game. When that referee throws the flag, particularly when he throws that rainbow, it's up in the air, it's almost offensive holding.
Flag comes in.
Or a block in the back.
I said almost.
So the block in the back will push Franklin and Marshall a little bit farther back. Connor Ryan, if you're wondering, a field goal kicker for Franklin and Marshall. You probably need to get him a little bit closer. He is 0 for 1 in attempts from 30 to 39 yards. As long as only 21 yards, but he's only had 2 opportunities. Second down and 18.
So that's a 10-yard penalty, and it comes from the previous spot, not from the foul.
Trips left with a slot. 1 man to the right side of the field. Will be Talib Gerald who gets the handoff, and Gerald will get back near the original line of scrimmage. They'll say that he did get to the original line of scrimmage as he picks up 8 on the play, takes it down to the 11-yard line.
And we've got a 3rd and 10. Third down has been good to the Dip so far today. But McDaniel needs an answer right here.
From the 11-yard line, no score with 9:57 to go in the second quarter. Gerald to the left of Bradley. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Shotgun snap taken. It's a delay. They hand it off to Gerald. Gerald to the 5, and Gerald into the end zone. Talib Gerald picks up his 5th touchdown of the season as he races this one in from 11 yards. Gerald puts the on top by a 6th and scores. It was a delay and a good sell by Bradley, who looked downfield first and then handed it off to his tailback, raced it up the middle and into the end zone.
Yeah, Gerald did a nice job. He needed to power his way at the beginning, gets into the end zone.
And the extra point is up, and it is good. Time on the field with 9:44 left in the second quarter. It's Franklin and Marshall 7 and McDaniel nothing here on the Green Terror Sports Network.
Now open an all-new McDaniel Athletics online store. The new store features t-shirts, sweatshirts, polos, hats, shorts, sweatpants, anything you might want to support your favorite Green Terror team. Check it out online at shop.mcdanielathletics.com.
Right?
Back here from Spinaga Williamson Field in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Franklin and Marshall using a fumble as well as a big run by Jordan Zachary, 67 yards to ultimately set up an 11-yard score by Talib Gerald, and it is 7-0 Diplomats with 9:44 left to go in the second quarter. Alongside John Seaman, Jeff Arlen here with you. This is start of the second half of the football season. And McDaniel comes in. They're looking for their first conference victory. While Franklin and Marshall looking for their second conference victory. If they get it, then it would be the 600th all win in program history.
Yeah, my count is that was a 4-play drive, covered 73 yards, 2 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock, and there's no question that the big play was the screen pass.
Well, Montgomery sees it bounce at the 15-yard line. It'll roll out of bounds, and so there's a bit of a mistake by Franklin and Marshall, which will hand McDaniel great field position. Going back to that 600 victory thing, John, only 7 other teams in Division III that have achieved 600 wins, while if Franklin and Marshall gets to that number today, then they would become the first team in the Centennial Conference to 600 victories.
What did we figure that they started football in a long time ago? 128 years, I think it was. 128 years of football, 600 wins, assuming when that goes. That's an average of 5.5 wins a season, which sounds pretty 500-ish until you realize that many of those years they didn't play 10 games or even 9. There were a lot of seasons where 8.
Daniel start from their own 35-yard line. There's a slant over the middle, and it'll be caught by Bamasa Baylor up at the 42-yard line. Baylor has factored in pretty well so far as he picks up 7 there. Remember, Mike Olivetti today for McDaniel on account of an ankle injury, which he suffered towards the end of the Gettysburg game.
Baylor's a nice-looking receiver. Good job of turning around and squatting, using his body to protect himself so that the defender can't get in, catches the ball. To do that, you're not going to get a run afterwards, but he picked up another 8 yards.
The 43-yard line of McDaniel, 2nd down and 2. Baylor over on the far side this time. By Amelia there, Chamberlain in the backfield, and a slant over the middle, incomplete and almost intercepted as it was thrown a little bit too far for Nick Amelia.
To me, I saw a different read between the quarterback. Looked like the receiver planted his feet, didn't continue to route. The quarterback said that he was going to continue it, and the ball ended up right in the arms of the defender. Fortunately, fell incomplete.
So it'll be 3rd down and 2 from the McDaniel 43-yard line. 7-0 Franklin and Marshall with 8:55 in the second quarter. 3 receiver package, 2 to the far side right, 1 to the near side left. Chamberlain to the left. He takes the handoff. Chamberlain will race it past the 45-yard line, and he will pick up enough for the first down. As Chamberlain gets out to the 49-yard line, a gain of 6. John Chamberlain, the freshman out of Franklinville, New Jersey. Both tailbacks for McDaniel freshmen in Campbell and Chamberlain.
And they run with a little bit different style. Chamberlain is a little bit more compact, runs more of a power runner. Had the big runs today. That first down was important. He knew where the stick was, and he made a point of getting there.
4 receiver package for Callahan. Has it from the 49-yard line. There's a throw down the far sideline, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Nick Amelia, and it was broken up by the guy that is making his first start this year, Aaron Fant, who was a first-team all-season, suffered a hamstring injury in the preseason, and he's somebody that Franklin and Marshall is very excited to have back.
I think you said first-team all-preseason American, All-American.
All-American.
Yeah, not all-conference, All-American.
2nd down and 10 from the McDaniel 49. Split backs for Callahan. Chamberlain gets the handoff, brings it across the 45-yard line, cuts it to the outside, weaving his way along, gets down inside the 35-yard line, and picks up the first down. He's down to the 32-yard line, a 17-yard run for Chamberlain.
Chamberlain really looking good once he gets into the open field as far as his vision and being able to move. Makes a little bit of a jump cut. That time, just a feint to the left, and he makes the jump cut back to the right, and that's what sets him free for the long game.
First down, moves the chains. It's at the 32 of F&M right now. Callahan in the gun. Chamberlain will shift from the right to the left of his quarterback, takes the handoff, goes towards the right side, and then will pick up a pair on the play. Dan Reardon getting those on the tackle for the Dills.
Chamberlain being replaced here right now.
they've done a good job of mixing both Chamberlain and Campbell. I'd say that we saw a little bit more Campbell in the first quarter, but we're seeing some more Chamberlain here in the second quarter.
Absolutely. It's nice to have two freshman running backs. Both of them have shown that they can catch the ball, play as a complete back, not just a runner, but also flare out in the backfield.
Shotgun snap taken by Callahan. He will hand it off towards the right side. Across the 25-yard line goes Campbell, and he'll take it down to the 24-yard line. It was, check that, Finley Smith. Marquise Finley Smith was there to on the carry.
Hit very, very hard by Daly.
Listed as a freshman wide receiver, but in the backfield there, a little bit more speed than we've seen out of the other two backs, and carries the ball across the formation. Nice gain, brings up a 3rd and short.
From the 23-yard line. 7-0 Franklin and Marshall. Callahan in the gun. 3 receivers set. This is Tayod Campbell, and they had it read perfectly as Campbell will be stopped at the 25-yard line. He ran to the likes of John Najee and Jonathan Cox, the nose guard of the defensive end for the Diplomats.
Snap was a little bit high again, and that throws the timing off a little bit. We've got a 4th and about 2, and it appears that the Green Terror
This will be a field goal from about 41 yards, so you don't have a choice here.
Now, it's outside of field goal range. It's too close to punt. Call a timeout. Get your best play that you have. And one of the effective things to do in this situation is to not look for the first down, but look for the end zone.
Well, we'll see if they give it a shot. It's 4th down and 2 from the F&M 24-yard line with the Diplomats. The Green Terror 7-0. 5:40 remaining before halftime. It's a timeout on the field on the Green Terror Sports Network.
Want to know more about the Centennial Conference? Log on to centennial.org, your one-stop source for news, scores, stories, and more on Centennial athletes and athletics. Our website has all the latest news and results from the championship. Have something to say? Follow us on Twitter. Like what you see? Recommend us on Facebook. That's the Centennial Conference, online and on your mobile device for everything on this and every conference event.
Holly Gerald that's given the Diplomats
7-0 Franklin and Marshall. 5:40 to go before halftime. Jeff Arnold, John Seaman here, and McDaniel tried on 4th and 2 from the F&M 24-yard line. Callahan with a long count, trying to draw somebody in the neutral zone. The pass is thrown over the middle and incomplete, intended for Baylor, and it was almost intercepted. And it was thrown right into the chest of one of the linebackers for F&M, and it's a turnover on downs for the Green Terror.
So we're looking at McDaniel first possession, second possession, blocked the field goal, third possession, a fumble. This time they turned the ball over on downs. They do have created a long field with the ball on the 24-yard line. Need to find a way to finish a drive and get in the end zone.
Make a play like that, pat that one down, and give your offense.
Bradley in the gun, and he will keep it. He faked the handoff, and he tries to run his way left, and he'll pick up probably about a yard.
You know, we're down 7-0. The 2 plays that have made a difference in the game were first the fumble, and then second the screen pass that went covered most of the yardage that led to the touchdown. McDaniel has played this game even, in fact, maybe statistically a little bit better, but the scoreboard's what matters. Need to force a 3 and out.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. Bradley in the gun, Gerald to his left. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. There's a throw coming near side, caught by McGann at the 25-yard line. And so we'll go and it was Fernandez that came up on the tackle. They'll say it was a gain of 1, so 3rd down and 8.
So you need to be looking for number 7, Jordan Zachary out here. Figure out where he is, along with Paul McGann, and keep the ball out of their hands.
I have to remember that earlier Zachary had a 63-yard catch off of a bubble screen. 7-0 Freshmen Marshall with 4:12 left. Diplomats going left to right here. Low snap. Up by Bradley. They throw it to McGann. It's caught along the near sideline. And it is a completion of 15 yards to McGann. McGann came in, tied for the lead in the conference in reception per game. 108 against Dickinson 2 weeks ago, and there he picks up his longest catch of the game.
And that's a classic possession.
First down catch from Nicholas. I think one of the things that McGann does phenomenally well is what he's doing with.
Worried that he's going to break long. Gives him a little bit of room. He makes the cut to the sideline, plants his feet, and he's out of bounds.
10 from the F&M 41. They throw it out of the backfield. It is caught by Gerald. And Gerald, he will lose 2 yards on the play. There was Nick Marino who came in for the tackle. Westmont, New Jersey freshman.
Liked what I've seen out of the McDaniel defense with the exception of third downs. Have not been able to finish the defensive series and force Diplomats off the field anywhere near as regularly as they need to.
Those are 6 of 7 on third down. Second down and 11. It's Lavalva headed towards the left side, and Lavalva will be tackled by Marino. Lavalva will pick up 4 yards on the play. That's the 43. In the 44.
So we got third and about 7 on this one.
I'll bring Nicholas Porcelli in the game. Franklin Marshall is another wide receiver.
Football to his outside arm.
7-0 F&M after the 11-yard touchdown run by Talib Gerald. Trips to the near side right, one to the left. Bradley out of the shotgun. Gerald to his right. Snap is taken. They set it up for Zachary. The split screen. He makes the catch and is forced out of bounds near the midfield stripe.
It's going to be close, but I think a little short.
Fernandez and Quattrone for the two that combine on the tackle, and they'll say he was short by a yard, and F&M will punt it away. And so F&M, as we said, they had 6 for 7 on third downs prior to that, but McDaniel gets a good stop and still leaves the possibility open. They could get on the scoreboard before the first half ends.
Jordan Zachary, as a slot back, has been lining up actually on the line of scrimmage, technically an end. The man wider than him has been in the backfield. That time he lined up in the slot, but he lined up deeper and flared out for that pass.
There's a very short kick, end over end. It'll take a bounce to the 31-yard line, and it will come out of bounds. And so there the punt sets up good field position for McDaniel, who will try and march their way back into the red zone. And see if they can get some points. They'll take over on their own 31-yard line with 1:41 left and 2 timeouts at their disposal.
It's an interesting time right now. We've not seen a meaningful 2-minute drill from McDaniel all year. There has not been a game where that's been something really of importance. So Callahan, a chance to show what he can do in a 2-minute drill.
He's in the gun, trips right, one to the left. Callahan has some time, throws middle, and the pass is incomplete. Brendan Daly, the safety, was playing over the top, and he almost came away with the interception.
And Daly certainly doing what he needs to do, playing that deep safety spot, eyes on the defender, didn't really pick up the ball. That one should have been picked.
Callahan's lived dangerously a couple of times. He's had a few passes that very well might have been intercepted. Second down and 10 from the 31-yard line. 7-0 Diplomats. Clock stopped at 1:36. Callahan of the gun takes the snap, back to throw, runs right, and it was intended for Bossa Baylor up at the 35-yard line, but he was not able to hold on. Pass was a little bit high above his shoulders. Now it's 3rd and 10.
So we've run 2 plays, 10 seconds is going off the clock. Now you're in a 3rd down. What you don't want to do is to throw a 3rd incompletion and be forced to punt and give them an opportunity to come up with another score before the half.
You mentioned third downs for McDaniel's one of your keys to the game. They're 1 of 4 in those spots today. Third and 10. Trips right, one man to the left.
And much more.
Handoff comes up the middle, and it will go for a gain of 5 yards on the play, and McDaniel will use a timeout. Campbell was the one that made the run.
Yeah,
Next will be Franklin Marshall that calls the timeout.
I was going to say, I please don't have McDaniel calling a timeout in that situation.
I was a little bit confused myself, but Franklin and Marshall is the team that called the timeout. That is their first, so they're trying to preserve some clock. 1 minute and 24 left. As it looks like for another game, McDaniel will go a first half without a touchdown or a field goal.
One of the keys to the game was to score early to get a lead. They've played some good offense, moved the ball. They've played some good defense, with the exception of third down plays. But right now they need a clean punt, minimize the return, get out of the half.
At this point, offense has been pretty even. Franklin Marshall outgaining McDaniel 207 to 178. But still not extreme. Only a 7-0 game, and now McDaniel's defense will see if he can get a stop. Zachary's back at his own 29. Haas gets an end-over-end kick away. It's a pretty good one. Takes a favorable bounce. It'll roll down inside the 5, and it will come to a stop at the 1-yard line. Does it get any better than that? I think not.
It's the ball is so deep, it would be difficult for the Diplomats to take a knee. It would be difficult for the quarterback to take the snap and just take a knee, because I think he'd be in the end zone.
Well, it took a great bounce, and it goes down as a 62-yard punt for Brett Haas, and that is his longest of the season. And that is the first punt of 60 yards by in a game that McDaniel has played in since all the way back in 2011 by Jake Nichols against Franklin and Marshall.
That's a great play whenever it happens. You want it to happen when there's still some time on the clock so that you can get the ball back in good field position.
Bradley will throw out of his end zone, looking for McGann near sideline, and it's incomplete at the 40-yard line. There it was, well defended by Luke Fernandez, who was running step by step with McGann in single coverage.
A little dangerous, in my opinion, by the Diplomats there, with considering the field position. There's a decent shot that McDaniel could sack a quarterback, could come up with 2 points here.
That's, I think, the first time all year that we've seen an opponent push back that far on their side of the field, try and attempt to pass from the end zone. There's a handoff to Gerald, who will bring it out to the 9-yard line. He gains 8.
Now, by bringing that out, it's certainly not a first down. McDaniel, if they can get a stop here, they need to call timeout. Expect the Diplomats to run this down. It's 23 seconds left on the play clock, and they're going to run it down and let this half go as close to expiration as possible.
We're down in 2. Probably just a short run, and that'll do it. Time all game, we've seen F&M line up in an I formation. Bradley ducks under center. He hands it off to Gerald, running it towards his left, and Gerald will be down near the first down marker, and he will pick up the first. But clock will stop. Gains will be reset, and the clock will start again, and Franklin and Marshall will almost assuredly let the first half clock expire. 11 seconds left. But still McDaniel, they're in a spot where they could get a win today. They're down 7-0 as we approach recess. Just waiting for John Panzerk, the referee, to start the clock. They said he went out of bounds. They marked him out of bounds rather than inbounds, and now Bradley will take a knee. And so that will mean that the rest of the clock will wind down and we approach triple zeros here from Spinago Williamson Field. The Diplomats with a 7-0 lead off of a Talib Gerald 11-yard touchdown run. But at this point, McDaniel's still in a position they could be first conference win. They just need to get something going on offense. They had a few opportunities. The block field goal as well as a fumble inside the red zone cost them a chance of points in the first half. So the Diplomats lead the Green Terror 7-0. We'll come back with halftime coverage from Lancaster after this timeout here on the Green Terror Sports Network.
Want to know more about the Centennial Conference? Log on to centennial.org, your one-stop source for news, scores, stories, and more on Centennial athletes and athletics. Our website has news and results from the championship. Have something to say? Follow us on Twitter. Like what you see? Recommend us on Facebook. That's the Centennial Conference online and on your mobile device for everything on this and every conference event. NCAA Division III student athletes follow their passion and discover potential in the pursuit of academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating in highly competitive athletic programs. Division III student athletes dedicate themselves to become successful citizens and responsible leaders. Division III, discover, develop.
Halftime here from Lancaster. It's a 7-0 game. Franklin and Marshall's got the lead over McDaniel. Jeff Arnold and John Seaman here, but John, it's been pretty close early on. The offense has been roughly even. Franklin and Marshall out getting 219 to 178. Third half was a little bit problematic for the Green Terror as well. They had a couple of chances at points, but a fumble and a blocked field goal ultimately meant that they didn't score at all in the first half. But still, I think there were some positive things that you saw in that first half.
There's no question. That's the best half of football that we've seen them play, including the second half of the Catholic game where they came back. The two errors in the half, certainly the fumble. I believe that fumble was caused by a poor exchange between the center and the quarterback. I don't think the handoff got to the running back well, and as he was still mishandling the ball as he got hit, and that put the ball on the ground. And then the inability, which a lot of people had the inability to stop Jordan Zachary. He's got a lot of speed. He's really good running laterally across formations, and the screen pass brought him down the field, set up the touchdown. But those two plays, and they were consecutive plays, the fumble and then the screen pass that took them most of the way down the field.
Jordan Zachary had one catch and a bubble screen. He had 71 yards receiving in the first half. 63 came on one play that ultimately led to the first and only Franklin and Marshall score of the game. We'll take a look at some of your first half statistics. McDaniel, I think, John, maybe the biggest thing I came away encouraged with for the Green Terror was the way that they ran the ball in the first half. They had good balance for John Chamberlain and Tay Campbell. They finished with 100 yards rushing in the first half. Pretty encouraging considering that for the year, McDaniel is last in rushing offense, averaging about 72 yards a game.
Yeah, 72 yards a game, and they have more than 100.5. You have to believe, okay, we can come out here and run the ball in the second half. But you also have to assume that the Diplomats are going to defense somewhat. They're probably going to tighten down on the run. As they do that, it's always a game of reaction to reaction.
So some other statistics for you. McDaniel 9 first downs, F&M at 10. In terms of the rushing we were just talking about, McDaniel outgained F&M on the ground 115 to 57. Both clubs rushed the ball 17 times. McDaniel, they were outpassed, though, by F&M. 162 yards, just 63 yards for the Green Terror. Usually you see the 115 to the 63. Those two numbers are usually flipped for McDaniel, the top passing team in the Centennial Conference. Matty Callahan was 6 of 13 passing, while Zachary Bradley was 10 of 14 overall. And some more of the individual numbers for you in a minute. In total, 219 yards, as we said, for Franklin and Marshall overall of offense. And then 178 yards, McDaniel. 2 punts, 53 yards for the Green Terror. 2 punts for 25 yards for the Diplomats. Both sides lost 1 fumble. He was also penalized 3 times. McDaniel for 27 yards. Franklin and Marshall for 20 yards. McDaniel led in time of possession, 14-57, 11. Franklin and Marshall was good on third down, 7 of 9. McDaniel, it's somewhere they want to improve in the second half, but the numbers have shown they are a lot better on third downs in the second half than the first half. They were just 1 of 5 in third down opportunities in the initial stanza.
I want to comment on that. They've been better on third downs in the second half because they've been far behind and teams have played soft against them on defense. You've got a very close game. They're going to need to keep that trend alive, improve their third down efficiency, but it's going to have to come from their actions and not the actions of the opponent.
Lastly, we'll tell you is that Franklin and Marshall was in the red zone once. They scored. It was the touchdown by Talib Gerald, and then McDaniel was 0 for 2. One was a lost fumble, and the other one was a blocked field goal. Some of the individual numbers, John Chamberlain led McDaniel in terms of offense, 5 rushes, 61 yards, and a long of 27 yards. Tayod Campbell, 8 rushes, 46 yards. And then Marquise Finley-Smith had 1 rush for 7 yards, and Matty Callahan rushed it 3 times for 7 yards. Callahan passing was 6 of 13 for 63 yards. Lamasa Baylor making his first start today for McDaniel, 4 catches for 28 yards. Nick O'Melia, 1 catch for 33 yards, and Campbell had 1 catch out of the backfield for 2 yards. Brett Haas had a 63-yard punt, the longest by a McDaniel player since 2011 against these Diplomats. He averaged 53 yards. Of course, that 63-yarder had a lot to do with that. Sean Montgomery, 1 return for 22 yards. On the F&M side, Talib Gerald, 8 rushes for 38 yards. He led all running backs for Diplomats. Scott LaValva, 3 rushes, 13 yards. And Zachary Bradley, the quarterback, rushed 5 times for 17 yards. Gerald had a touchdown, 11-yard rush. Receiving-wise, Jordan Zachary, 1 catch of 63 yards, accounted for the majority of his output in the first half. 2 catches for 71 yards himself. Paul McGann, 4 catches for 39 yards, and Talib Gerald caught it 2 times for 52 yards. Cody Hugs, 2 punts for 15 yards. Defensively, Luke Fernandez and Bob Martin, Case, McDaniel tackling wise, each had 4, while Brendan Daly, safety for Diplomats, 4 tackles on the ball game so far. He's leading the way. Right now, it's a 7-0 Franklin and Marshall lead. So stick around. More of the Green and Gold halftime show coming up in a moment. Earlier this week, Luke Stilson caught up with volleyball sophomore captain Madeline Rose. We talked about how the season's going so far, and also talked about the Green Terrors run for the conference tournament. That's coming up after this time out. Conversation between Luke and Madeline after this break here on the Green Terrors.
NCAA Division III student athletes follow their passion and discover potential in the pursuit of academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating in highly competitive athletic programs. 3 student athletes dedicate themselves to become successful citizens and responsible leaders. Division III, discover, develop.
Continue here on the Green and Gold halftime show. Sports Information Director Luke Stilson joined at halftime of McDaniel and Franklin Marshall. Sophomore captain on the volleyball team, Madeline Rose, joins me now for a few minutes. Madeline, thanks for some time.
No problem.
Let's talk about the volleyball season. We chatted with Chloe before the season opened. For anybody who heard that interview, so we spend the middle of the season here. We catch up on what's going on with the volleyball season. You guys off 18-6 here with about 3 weeks left in the season. Talk about the season so far and what you guys have been able to accomplish so far.
Yeah, we had a really strong start to the season. We returned all our players, as you know, so we've got really good team chemistry going. Some strong wins in the beginning. We've been on the road a lot recently, so it's always tough to get those road games. We've got a tough conference, so hopefully these upcoming home games will be conference wins.
Absolutely. You guys got a 4-0 start the first weekend of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of when we talked to Chloe first. Talk about that first weekend, getting that 4-0 start, and how that kind of you was able to use the momentum for that first weekend to propel you guys through the month of September.
Yeah, that opener tournament was really fun, and we got a chance to see the freshmen play with them for the first time after all our work in preseason. It's always good to get in there, get some game time. Had some players really step up on the court, so it's been really fun.
Absolutely. Let's get into conference play now. You guys made the conference tournament last year. You mentioned everybody back this year. It's not really the team that's just sneaking up on it. You guys had a lot of hard-fought conference. You played a lot on the road early on here. You played some of those tougher teams. You had to go to Muhlenberg and go to Haverford. Those are probably the two biggest ones, and go to F&M. Those are probably the three that stick out most in my head as the tough ones that you guys have had to play on the road so far.
Yeah.
Talk about not being a team that everybody's kind of expecting more from in the conference, so you're not really sneaking up on anybody this year.
Yeah, last year we had the advantage of kind of being the underdog. Right. Nobody expected us to come out last year strong, taking that spot in playoffs. But this year we've been scouted. Nobody left. Teams were ready for us, and that was a challenge for us at first. And we've had some experience kind of being blindsided by that, having teams adjust their defenses to us, but we're working on adjusting our offense too, and working on our passing, getting back into it so that we can kind of sneak by again with some new plays.
He's got one last step out of conference today. One last out of conference match here, tri-match at St. Mary's. Use that as a kind of final tune-up here for the last 2 weeks of the regular season. But then you mentioned you got some home matches here in the next two weeks against some teams that are those teams in the middle where you guys are going to be battling with those teams for the playoff spots. So talk about kind of that last 2 weeks in this final push here now to get into the postseason.
Yeah, so coming out of some tough losses, we've been working hard in practice on adjusting our block, our serve receive, our passing, kind of breaking down the fundamentals so that we can run faster with these teams that run really fast offenses, so that we can keep up, because it's not a skill, it's more of a mental thing where we're losing right now. So we're going to plan on working on those things these two matches this weekend, kind of preparing ourselves for Gettysburg on Wednesday, because as you said, these are some matches that we're going to be fighting for the fourth spot, getting into playoffs coming up.
Let's talk individually about some of the teams. Let's talk about the main hitters. Obviously, you, Chloe, and Lexi has really come on. Really, is kind of that third option in the attack game. So talk about kind of the three of you guys working together up on the front line.
Oh, it's really fun. It's fun being up with Chloe always, because Chloe's always screaming for the ball. If there's anybody on the court that wants to put it down, it's Chloe, and you hear her wanting it every single time. She has that really great mentality of she wants to make the play. So you can always rely on Chloe. Lexi has come out just crazy this year, just fast and stronger than last year, crazy on offense, and her block is huge too. So she made some huge physical changes this year, just fast and strong. High vertical, she's killing it. Her percentage is 380 right now, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, so Lexi just does awesome. You can always rely on her to just kill it in the 10-foot line when you need to. Middle's been fun for me this year too. So, I don't know what to say.
Right. Yeah, Lexi probably your most improved player, I think, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah, definitely. Playing with Lexi's fun because we get to switch in and out, and Middle's kind of that fun role where you just get to be the quick decision. So
let's talk about Reagan Fowler, one of those freshmen that you guys have added to the attack. Talk about what she's been able to bring to the team this year.
Yeah, Reagan's great. Reagan's consistent, and just like Chloe, we can rely on her to find the court when we just need it over. We can rely on her to put a ball down when she gets a perfect set. She came out really strong. We were excited to get Reagan in. So she does really well. Yeah.
Obviously, the passing game, just from the fact you get some options to hit off from Colette, options to hit off Maddie when they're in the game. What kind of the differences the two of them bring to the setting game?
Our setters are great. They always talk about how it's funny because sometimes we switch our who sets who. So they say they run like a Lexi middle set and a Madeline middle set because we make it difficult because we like things differently. But our setters are just so smart, and Maddie's really been pushing her offensive plays, just getting a ton of kills on setter dumps. Colette always knows how to make the smart play. She gets our right sides in the offense, getting Taryn in there, getting Caroline some kills. Our setters do a great job, and they're picking their defense up too, because bringing in that one spot, getting a lot of hits over there from the other teams.
Right. Let's switch over to defense now a little bit. Jenna Wager's been kind of the mainstay back there on the defense on the back line. Talk about her and what you've been able to see from her in her second year as well, holding down that libero spot.
Jenna's energy is just contagious. She runs the court. She's always talking. She's always where she's supposed to be. And even if the ball's going there, somebody where she's not supposed to be, she's there. She sees it. She covers all of our hitters, picks up those blocks. She will get the ball up out of nowhere. You'll just see Jenna on the other side of the court playing the balls. She does a great job.
The other part of the defense we talked a little bit about was the blocking. And obviously you and Lexi kind of in the middle there keep the center of that block, but Chloe gets her blocks. Carol obviously is a tall force in the middle there as well. And even the setters get involved as well.
Yeah.
Colette's always been involved in blocks. Talk about even the blocking game and how that's improved this year.
Yeah, we've really had to adjust our blocking game this year. I don't know. We've been working on it a lot just because it's not really our positioning that's wrong. Our hands get tooled a lot, so we've been working on stronger hands, getting a lot of communication so that our block goes up solid together. I think we do have a strong block, but it's something that we need to improve on. We still do well, though. We get our touches in there.
We're talking a Green Gold halftime show. Sophomore captain of the volleyball team, Madeline Rose, joining me. Halftime of McDaniel and Franklin Marshall here on McDanielAthletics.com. There's 2 weeks left in the regular season now. Gettysburg, Hopkins, and Washington left on the schedule. Gettysburg and Hopkins were those 2 teams. Probably going to have winning both of those matches next 2 Wednesdays is going to go a long way in putting you guys in the playoffs. But it's also building again, because as you said, you didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
Once again, next year you don't lose anybody.
Right.
So talk about not only just continuing to build towards the last part of this season, but then using that to build towards next season. And a year where you're going to have seniors in Chloe and Colette, and then you and Jenna and all those be juniors, and really be able to make possibly a big push next year. Yeah,
having a young team is an advantage and a disadvantage because you come in, you build every single year, your chemistry gets better, everyone's playing together, but at the same time, we're not losing anyone. We're just bringing people in so teams know what to expect from us. So it's been a challenge for us this year that we had hitters come in that nobody knew how to read. Nobody played against Lexi or me before, so middles were strong last year. Now we just have teams that are ready for us, so we've got to, as I said before, pick up our mental game, just work on really outsmarting, scouting those teams beforehand, finding our open shots, reading around our defense, adjusting, getting ready for the next 2-3 games are really big for us, and they're really important. We're excited to play them.
Absolutely. You guys 18-6 right now.
Yeah.
So you're obviously ECAC eligible, so even if the conference playoffs things don't work out in that regard, you still have the ECAC tournament to be able to focus in on the postseason opportunity. I think the opportunity for that postseason play, not only just the experience of postseason play, but also get you guys a couple more weeks of practice to work together and build even more towards next year. Yeah, that could be really advantageous for us. We're always looking to get in the gym, get more reps, work on the things we need to fix. It's probably the new assistant coach in Coach Martin this year. Kind of what she's been able to bring to the program this year. Kmart's awesome. We loved having her come in because we loved Coach K, and Coach K was awesome for us, and she was a setter, so she was really, really helpful for our 2 setters. But having had those 2 setters come back, not graduate anyone, we had Sarah come in as a setter as well, so she's learning. But having Kmart come in as a middle hitter has been awesome for Lexi and I, because we just get some really detailed feedback about blocking, about transitions, about open zones, about shots. She's been really helpful, I think, for our block and our hitting game. So, what question we need to ask. How's it been dealing with a pregnant Coach Wolverton?
Oh, it's awesome. Oh, it's funny. We love having. Oh, we're so excited. Same as ever. No less tough just because she's pregnant, but she still gets a few of those jokes in there. She's got that sense of humor that just kills us.
It's always been that way. I was her SID when she was in college. She has to change it, but a lot of thoughts from you as we wrap things up here on the halftime show. You guys head into the last 2 weeks of the season. Final thoughts from you.
We're just really excited to get these next conference games. Tough losses. Obviously, no one likes to take those losses, especially when we haven't been playing at the top of our game. So our practices have been tough, and we've been focused, and we're ready to translate that into some gameplay.
Madeline, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll continue here on the Green and Gold Halftime Show. Back to Jeff and John. They'll get you set for the second half right here on McDanielAthletics.com.
Want to know more about the Centennial Conference? Log on to centennial.org, your one-stop source for news, scores, stories, and more on Centennial athletes and athletics. Our website has all the latest news and results from the championship. Have something to say? Follow us on Twitter. Like what you see? Recommend us on Facebook. That's the Centennial Conference online and on your mobile device for everything on this and every conference event.
We welcome you back from Spinaga-Williamson Field. It's a 7-0 Franklin and Marshall lead, about ready to get underway in the second half. Jeff Arnold here with you. John Seaman will have his keys to the second half in just a moment. Take you around the Centennial Conference scoreboard. Here's a game you want to keep your eye on. Juniata playing Ursinus. The Bears, a 5-0 team overall, 4-0 in the Centennial Conference, one of only 2 unbeatens, but it is Juniata leading at 31-10 in the third quarter. That game is it's homecoming for Juniata, so they're trying to see if they can pull the upset. Elsewhere, Moravian and Susquehanna starting the third, 14-14 between those two clubs in the Lehigh Valley. And then Muhlenberg has a 24-0 lead over Gettysburg at the halftime break, also being played in the Lehigh Valley. And last night, 42-7, John Hopkins, the number 9 team in the country, was a winner over Dickinson. So they remain undefeated and they hold on to the top spot, and they very well could be the only team with no losses in either overall or in Centennial play, unless Ursinus can find a way to come back against Juniata. 31-10. And we actually won't take a break. John, we'll just get your keys to the second half. We know you like the play of Bamasa Baylor in that first. If you want more Bamasa and more John Chamberlain, that sound about right?
I certainly do. What we really need here is a quick start. Right now, the Terror have to come out with more confidence into the second half than they've had all season. They've been down every halftime. This is by the fewest points. But that confidence they have, my guess, is only an inch deep. And they need to build on it quickly to get more depth to it. They need a stop on defense and a fairly quick stop that will give them some good field position, and then ideally a score. That combination would lead to a victory.
McDaniel was 0 for 2 in red zone opportunities in the first half. They had a field goal blocked, and they also lost the ball on a fumble. Meanwhile, a Talib Gerald 11-yard touchdown run, the only points for Franklin and Marshall, going for their 600th win today, as there is a line drive kick be taken by one of the Upmen as we get underway in this third quarter, and it'll be taken out near the 40-yard line. So Franklin and Marshall will have good field position. As F&M, one of the keys for them in the first half was they were 7 of 9 on third down. No question, John, that you said a quick defensive stop is what you're going to need, and ideally you'd like it to be a 3-and-out.
3-and-out, turnover, but yes, they definitely need a stop. The quicker the better to create field position.
McDaniel outgained McDaniel in the first half. There's a Talib Gerald handoff, and Gerald will run right into the defensive line and pick up 2 on the play. Gerald had 38 yards rushing on 8 carries in the first half. Here he
gains 3, so 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, he was certainly stacked up a little earlier than that, managed to stay on his feet, and the line pushed forward that 3-yard gain. You can give up 3. You don't want to give up 4 or more.
2 receivers to the near side right. One really spread to the boundary. The quarterback takes the snap and dumps it off short to Gerald. He'll take it up to the 45-yard line, and it'll set up a 3rd down and 4.
So we've got the first big down of the second half. McDaniel did not get the dips off the field anywhere near consistent enough on 3rd down. What were they? 7 for 9. And they need to be 0 for 1 right here to start the second half. Big play.
Well, the huddle is broken. Bradley, 10 of 14 passing in the first half. Now 11 for 15 on the game after the last pass was completed. He's pressured. They dump it short, and it's picked off by one of the D linemen at the 35-yard line as it went right into the breadbasket of Delane Lucas. 6'3" and 350 pounds. It was thrown right into his chest, and Franklin and Marshall turns it over for the 2nd time today.
And that's just what the doctor ordered here. McDaniel, check number 1 on what I've asked for. Let's see if we can find check number 2. A ball on the 35-yard line, as short a field as we've seen. The positive 35 yards away from scoring points.
Chamberlain's in the backfield. He's to the left of Callahan, and he will get the hand, racing it up the middle. He's got room to run. He's the 15, 10, 5. It's a sprint for 6. Chamberlain, a 35-yard touchdown run. And with an extra point, we will be at even terms.
35 yards for the touchdown. Chamberlain pretty much untouched. Just an outstanding series of events. The turnover, the long run. Let's put the point on the board. Let's tie this thing up.
So Weersberg on for the extra point. Snap, spot, kick, end over end, and good. Weersberg. Now 9 of 10 on PATs this year after the 35-yard touchdown run by John Chamberlain. And Chamberlain finds the end zone for the first time in his college career. 7-7, 13:58 to go here in the third. Timeout on the field on the Green Terrors Sports Network.
The students competing in today's game are among approximately 180,000 college students who play varsity sports in the NCAA's largest division. Learn more about Division III at ncaa.org, on the Division III Facebook page, or at NCAA Division III on Twitter.
Well, that's a nice quick touchdown drive.
Yeah,
John Chamberlain, one play, 35 yards into the end zone. He gets his first collegiate touchdown, and it's a 7-7 game between McDaniel and Franklin and Marshall. Jeff Arnold, John Seaman here with you. Well, John, you were saying a quick stop and hopefully a quick score. You got both.
I got both. Yeah. I wish I'd asked for more. Okay.
What more do you want?
What do I want? I want to fumble on the kickoff return. You know what? An onside kick would not be out of the realm of possibility, but it's on the ground.
And they will let it roll to the 15-yard line. It'll be taken across the 25, and it'll be across the 30 to the 35-yard line or so. And it's Gerald, the one who raced it ahead. He'll advance it out to the 36-yard line as Franklin and Marshall turns it over. Zach Bradley, second in the Centennial Conference in completion percentage, came in with just one interception in his prior 3 games. Didn't have one in the first half, but he threw it right to defensive tackle Dwayne Lucas, and then Chamberlain, 35 yards to the house.
That interception certainly belonged to the defensive pressure. He was under pressure, and he just didn't put it up for grabs, but he tried to put it to one of his receivers short, and it was intercepted.
Three-receiver package. They give it to Gerald. Runs towards the right. He's across the 45, past midfield, and he will be taken down at the 44-yard line by Tyler Krebs, the Rover. So big run there by Gerald. Picks up a first down to the 44-yard line. That'll go as a 20-yard gain.
You know, you don't want to give up 20-yard gains, but somebody gains 20 yards, you want to make sure that it doesn't lead to 40 yards and a touchdown.
From the McDaniel 44, shotgun formation, Scott LaValva is right behind his quarterback, and LaValva will take the handoff and pick up 4. And there's the stop. Brandon Cortez among those on the tackle there for McDaniel.
So we've got a second and about 6 here. McDaniel needs to maintain the intensity that they had in that first defensive series. The 3 and outs out of the question, but let's do a 4 and out.
3 receivers to the far side of the field, 1 man to the near side, and Bradley fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. He bounces to the outside. He's past the 35, and he will have the first down out to about the 28-yard line or so. It's a 10-yard run for Zach Bradley, not typically known as a running quarterback. 12 rushes entering today for minus 19 yards, but he did a good job to sell the handoff, and then he took it upfield for a first down.
Yeah, that time broke contain. The defense tried to do too much, tried to come inside when you have to play your position.
From the 28-yard line, 3-receiver package, design rollout for Bradley, swings it to McGann, caught at the 26-yard line, and then it'll be Matt Quattrone making the tackle up around the 24-yard line.
Now, first man there hit the receiver, spun him a little bit, slowed him down, but you need to go ahead and face him. You don't need to hit with the helmet, but you need to hit square, not just with an arm, and put him to the ground.
Second down and 4, 11:40 to go in the third, 7-7 game. Trips to the far side left, a single man to the near side right, Gerald in backfield with Bradley. Shotgun snap, they set up the bubble screen for Zachary, and Zachary will be wrestled down. He'll get the first down at the 26-yard line before the junior Luke Fernandez could make the tackle.
First down.
Check that, he said the 26, the 16-yard line, rather. Well, first down for Franklin and Marshall, trying to answer after the score by Chamberlain from 35 yards out on the first offensive play of the second half for the Green Terror.
Started this drive on their own 36-yard line. It's a 5-play drive, 3 runs, 2 passes.
First down and 10. Gerald gets the handoff, races it to the 13-yard line. A member of the Green Terror sort of leaped on the top of the pile, and that was Richard Settle to provide the finishing touches there on Gerald for a gain of 3.
Now, Settle's the freshman linebacker that we heard about who had the hamstring injury in preseason, really just getting his first playing time today. And you can see why the coaches are excited about him.
5'10" freshman, not too far from here. He's from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. 13-yard line of McDaniel. Second down and 7 for the Diplomats. 3 receivers set. Gerald takes the handoff, races it up the middle. He's inside the 10-yard line, and he will take it to call it the 8.5-yard line.
You've got a third down here, third and short, third and about 2. McDaniel needs to find a stop here. Stop here will be easier than if they give up the first down.
The game, Franklin and Marshall, 7 of 10 on first down. That's roughly 35 percentage points better than they averaged for the year. Will be from their 8-yard line. 4-receiver package, Gerald the lone setback. Bradley in the gun, takes the handoff, and they have got this one read. McDaniel's defense takes down Bradley. It's a loss of 2. Will set up a 4th down and 4, and the Franklin and Marshall field goal unit will come on.
McDaniel bringing in the speed guys from the corner, going to try to get in there and see if they can get this thing blocked.
Connor Ryan will be attempting the field goal. And this one will be from 37 yards out. The snap, the spot, kick, end over end, and it is good. Franklin and Marshall gets the field goal after Chamberlain scores a 35-yard touchdown, and the Diplomats lead at 10-7 with 9 left in the third quarter on the Green Terrace Sports Network.
NCAA Division III student athletes follow their passion and discover potential in the pursuit of academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating in highly competitive athletic programs. Division III student athletes dedicate themselves to become successful citizens and responsible leaders. Division III, discover, develop.
Connor Ross with a 37-yard field goal. It's the longest of the season. And it's Franklin and Marshall back on top by a 10-7 lead. F&M looking for their 600th program win today. They become the first team in the Centennial Conference to reach that benchmark if they can accomplish it. But McDaniel fighting their way for their first conference win. They got a touchdown, and now they'll see if they can answer yet again here, John Seaman.
So certainly they've only had the ball for one offensive play, and it did everything you could ask. This time they need to get some decent field position, march the way back down the field again.
It's an end-over-end kick. Montgomery will take it to the 15-yard line. He's across the 25-30, weaves his way, pushes a man down, and gets to the 35-yard line. There was a flag thrown, and you have to wonder, did Montgomery maybe reach into his face mask and shove him down? We'll have to see. There's another flag that comes in.
That's the same one. They just moved it around a little bit. It's going to be a block.
Either way, this will be a 10-yard penalty, and if you're judging by where the flag is, this would mean that McDaniel would be starting on their own 14.
Good positions, part of the ball game. That's a decent kickoff return gave them good field position. Instead, the penalty comes back, and they are at about the
For the ball carrier.
Callahan on the shotgun, first down at 10, 10-7 Diplomats with 8:57 left in the third. Two men to the left, one to the right. Callahan a shotgun snap, sets the screen up for Amelia, but it never ends up working out, and he'll lose 3 as the gaggle of blue shirts came to take him down.
I just watching this, when we see the Dips throw that screen outside, it appears that there's more blockers than there are defenders. And when we throw the screen, it appears there's more defenders than there are blockers.
Preseason All-American Fant was there on the tackle. Gave a little bit of forward progress to Amelia, so only second and 12. Ball on the right hash, 2 receivers right. Chamberlain take the handoff to him, and Callahan will be sitting down and an additional yard.
Amelia lost 2.
30-13.
You don't have many 3rd and 13 plays in your book, particularly when you're back on your own 11. One of the things they needed to do in this series was to dig themselves out of this field position hole. And a 3 and out is not going to help them there. The wind has shifted a little bit. It appears to be blowing pretty much across the field if I'm looking at some pennants that are on the far sideline.
A little bit more of a challenge for Brett Haas. Trips to the near side left, one to the right. Callahan the gun, blitz coming. Callahan running for his life, and he won't get out of trouble as the sack is by John Najee, who picks up his first sack of the year, first full sack of the year, I should say. And Callahan sacked all the way back to the 5-yard line, a loss of 8. And it means Brett Haas, even though he's one of the Centennial's best, will have a tough task ahead of him punting from his own end zone.
Yeah, if he can manage to put it out on the 1-yard line again, I'll be impressed.
He had a 60-yard punt in the first half. That was the longest McDaniel player since 2011 against the Diplomats. Zachary stationed back at the McDaniel 45. This is a spiraling kick.
Zachary moves to his left, catches it near midfield, and he will be driven back. So Zachary will lose 2 on the punt return. He'll start at the 49-yard line of McDaniel, but it could have been a lot worse.
Basama Baylor was the gunner on that, did a standing job getting downfield and tackling him as soon as the ball got there.
Franklin and Marshall will start on the 49-yard line of McDaniel. They're up by a 10-7 score. Mike Hoyt's team trying for their first win in the Centennial today. And they're trying for their first in 10 ball games against F&M. Not one against the Diplomats since 03 in Westminster. Talib Gerald takes the handoff, and a great saving tackle is made at the 38-yard line. It's a gain of 11 on the play, and it is Talib that made the tackle.
Oh my, that one was really close. First half, McDaniel played pretty solid run defense, pretty solid defense overall, and they've been a little bit shakier here in the second half. They need to get the composure and figure out how to contain this offense.
Gerald gets the call and will run it up the middle. They'll pick up 2 on the play, 2nd down and 8. And you said when I asked you keys to the second half, and you said a mile wide and an inch deep, you have to be very, very careful right now because McDaniel's gained a little bit of confidence, but you can cement some of that confidence if you can get a stop here. And you're at the, it's in McDaniel territory, and Marshall driving here.
The first series defensively with the interception, and then the quick touchdown. Those are wonderful things. You have to show that you can sustain it.
Pass is thrown and caught by Zachary at the 25-yard line. He'll be shoved out of bounds at the 23. A 14-yard gain to Zachary. Zachary, 71 yards receiving, led this F&M team in the first half, and they're just a simple out pattern. And he gets out of bounds.
71 yards, but 69 of it on one play. He's a dangerous receiver. There's no question about that. Made the first man miss there, but fortunately, the second man was in the hot pursuit.
There's a swing pass. It's the bubble screen that they set for Zachary on the 15, past the 10, and he'll be stopped right near the 5-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 6 and give a lot of credit to Paul McGann, who set up a great block on the outside that allowed for Zachary to get it all the way down to the 6-yard line.
You like the way they scheme, the way they can get Zachary the ball in open space and allow him to do things with it once he's caught it.
First team All-Centennial selection last year, Zachary. That season also set a school record all-purpose yards in a season. First and goal from the McDaniel 6. They fake the handoff, and it will be close to the goal line. They'll say that Bradley will be marked down at the 2-yard line. Remember, the Green Terror got his jersey and was able to bring him down right before he could reach the goal line.
Yeah, the defensive player certainly had him in his sights and allowed him to get away. So we've got a 2nd and goal from the 2.
And only the second time all game we've seen F&M in a I formation. From the McDaniel 2-yard line, they hand it off to Gerald, running right, and he is in the end zone. Talib Gerald, both touchdowns for Franklin and Marshall today, and they've got a 9-point lead. He went off of the right side behind his fullback. And it's 16-7 F&M with 3:57. Well, for Gerald, that is his 6th touchdown of the year. He had only 1 against Dickinson 2 weeks ago.
Able to outrun everybody.
Snap, spot the kick, and Zikarowski tacks it on for the extra point. Franklin and Marshall leads it 17-7. 3:57 to go in the third quarter. Timeout on the field on the Green Terror Sports Network.
NCAA Division III student athletes follow their passion and discover potential in the pursuit of academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating in highly competitive athletic programs. Division III student athletes dedicate themselves to become successful citizens, responsible leaders. Division III, discover, develop.
17-7, Franklin and Marshall has the lead over McDaniel. Jeff Arnold, John Seaman. If you want to give you one final from this Centennial, it's a bit of a surprise. Juniata pulls the upset on Ursinus, and they do so in big fashion. 38-10, Juniata defeats Ursinus, and so now it's only Johns Hopkins, the undefeated team in the Centennial Conference.
And Hopkins looming large at the end of this season for McDaniel. McDaniel right now needs to focus on the next 19 minutes, and specifically this possession. They need to find some first downs, move defensively. They need to find an answer for the Dips.
There's the kickoff. It's end over end. It'll be retrieved by Montgomery at his 10-yard line, brings between the hashes, and he will be stopped at the 21-yard line. John, I know we've got 3:52 left in the third quarter. There's still plenty of time for McDaniel, but the offense has moved so much this year. Is this a where you have to score?
Certainly, it's a possession where you have to turn the field around. Got to go ahead and show that you can move the ball consistently. And ideally, you need to score. You're down by 2 scores, and you haven't shown the ability to stop the Dips in the second half.
Get in there.
Yes, you need to get down the field and score yourself.
It'll be from the McDaniel 21-yard line. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Quick hitter out of the right side. Amelia makes the catch, and it'll be shoved out of bounds at the 24-yard line. A gain of 3 on the play. At the moment, McDaniel's being outgained by Franklin and Marshall. 330 to 202. McDaniel knows a slight edge in the rushing department, 141 to 123.
My guess is you're going to see an occasional run, but you're going to see the ball thrown a little bit more simply because of the 10-point differential.
Split backs here for Callahan. 3 receivers, no tight ends. Callahan employs the long count. Now ducks under, takes the snap, hands it off, and it is Tayod Campbell. And Campbell will probably gain about, they'll probably lose about a yard or so. And that was not Campbell, that was Marquise Finley Smith who makes his second carry of the game.
And when they go to the twin back set, it seems that's when they have Smith in.
They'll send Bamasa Baylor in the ball game now. You said right before the second half got underway, you wanted to see more of Bamasa Baylor.
Certainly, he had made 2 wonderful catches in the first half. He's lined up on the line of scrimmage as a slot end on the right.
Single receiver to the left. 1 man in the backfield. It's Campbell. Callahan guns over the middle. The pass is incomplete. And it was Smith who they were looking for. Steve Elf, the linebacker, was the one that broke it up, and it's a 3-and-out for the Green Terror.
3 and out. That's exactly what they did not need. The defense needed some time on the field to gather themselves. We're going to need something special to happen. There needs to be a turnover. There needs to be a big negative play by the Diplomats. Something has to happen.
A lot of pressure there on Haas. This is not a good kick. It's spiraling out of bounds near the McDaniel 40-yard line.
Offense there. We'd be blaming the quarterback who
And
threw that.
this kick, after his 63 yards earlier, it will only go up to 32-yard line. So about 11 yards on that kick from Haas.
I don't know whether that one was touched or not. It may have been. Wasn't touched. It was certainly pressured.
First and 10.
Check that. My math was wrong. I said it should be 7 yards on the punt overall. So they'll say it's at the 32 of McDaniel. So great field position here for the Diplomats. 3 receivers set. There's the handoff. It goes to Gerald off the left side, but Gerald will lose a couple of yards on the play.
So a negative play for McDaniel defense. That's exactly the way you want to start things out. Now you need to go ahead and make a point of finding McCann and finding Zachary, because they're likely to go to one of the two of them on this next play. And they're both lined up to the right.
Send two men to the near side right, one to the left. Split backs here for Bradley. Takes the shotgun snap. Design roll out to his right. Looking down, now he tucks it and runs with it. And he will dive to the 26-yard line, where Matt Quattrone touches him down.
Oh, that time he was looking for either or both McCann and Zachary. They had them covered up, but then they ran out of defenders and didn't have anybody to stop the quarterback.
3rd down and 4. They've got Nick Porcelli in the game. Franklin and Marshall does. He is the slot man. The far side left of the field. Empty backfield here for Bradley. 2 men to the right. Shotgun snap taken. It's a draw play coming up the middle. 1st down and more. Bradley races it past the 15-yard line, and he will pick up 12 down to the 14-yard line. They emptied the backfield. McDaniel saw it pass. And
they got the 1st down and more. Down inside the 15 and tackled at the 4.
Now FM is back inside the red zone. They're 3 for 3 in red zone opportunity.
Things there. You see McGarry looking up to his left. He's trying to lead receivers out of coverage.
Diplomats, quarterback keeping the ball more often because he sees that there's just nobody left to defend him.
Gerald takes the handoff up the middle. He's past the 10, inside the 5, and he will take it to the 2-yard line. The hard run for Steve Gerald. With that, we'll get to 96 yards rushing on the day. That was his 17th carry. He's done a good job carrying the mail for FM. He's got 17 carries. After him, the next closest is 4 carries.
He's a nice running back. He's got good speed, but he's shown power specifically on 2 plays. His first touchdown, he showed a lot of power, and he showed a lot of power on that play.
And that will mark an end to the 3rd quarter. So, starts well for McDaniel. They tie the game on a touchdown by Chamberlain from 35 yards out, but Franklin and Marshall answers a field goal and a second touchdown by Gerald, 2 yards out, and it's 17-7 Diplomats. We go to the 4th quarter after this on the Green Terror Sports Network.
NCAA Division III and the Special Olympics have partnered to improve the lives of Special Olympic athletes. This initiative is focused upon the involvement of Division III student athletes through service and support of the Special Olympics. To learn more about the partnership, go to NCAA.
What other game has gone final?
So we start the 4th quarter here from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Turned into a bit of a cloudy day after it was a very sunny day right when we arrived at 11 o'clock this morning. Right now the Diplomats lead the Green Terror by a 17-7 score. Jeff Arnold, John Seaman here with you. Matt McGarity, the quarterback for the Diplomats, trying to see if he can get his club into the end zone. It's 1st down and goal from the 2-yard line, and Gerald's got the hat trick. Had a hole off the right side, raced into the end zone, and now Franklin and Marshall has made this a 16-point lead. And they have scored 16 of the 23 points in the second.
The middle, a 2-yard touchdown run for Tali.
Yeah,
his 3rd of the game. And
things that started so promising in the second half have gone south fairly quick.
Zikarowski on for the extra point, and he is true blue. Splits the center 24-7.
I look at that 3rd quarter. McDaniel ran 7 offensive plays. The first one was the 35-yard touchdown run. They ran 3 plays and a punt, another 3 plays and a punt. It's not the defense here just giving up points. It's the offense not being able to slow the game down a little bit and staying on the field.
You talk about the couple of punts. Well, you have to look at what Franklin and Marshall's done to answer that 35-yard Chamberlain run. 37-yard field goal by Ryan, 2-yard touchdown by Gerald, and there he races one in for a touchdown. He has 3 of them on the game.
Any chance of an at-large versus
Gerald, 98 yards rushing on 18 carries. And now, Frank, this is really, we said earlier that when McDaniel, they were trailing by a 17-7 score that really was a must-score chance. And that also true in this case. Franklin Marshall going for that 600th win in program history today. And they're 11 straight over the Green Terror. Now the ball comes off the tee as that crosswind blows it down.
As we look at the far sideline, there's some pennants in the stands, and they're standing pretty much straight out, blowing at us. So the wind, certainly at that point, is coming across the field. And I'm not seeing a terrible amount of movement in the trees.
Will not be held, and here's the kick from Ryan. End over end. He'll take a hop of the 10-yard line. It'll be retrieved at the 5-yard line, and this as tackle is made at around
short on the 15-yard line. That's a get away.
3-yard line. And there it was Amelia, I believe, was the one that tried to. It was Tweedy, rather. Tweedy was the run that tried to return the punt. It was over on the far side of the field, so our advantage was blocked.
So the inability to field that ball in the air, it was really not a catch point, but the up man let it go by him. And a kickoff, unless somebody intends for it to hit the ground, it will never hit the ground.
There's a handoff up the middle, and it'll be Campbell who picks up 3 yards out to the 6, and that's just one of those things that Mike Hoyt, when you have that film session either tomorrow or on Monday, will definitely be addressed.
Yeah, the ball has to be caught. And when it's not, just bad things happen.
2nd down and 7, 24-7 F&M with the lead. 2 receivers to the far side right. Now they switch Campbell from the right of Callahan to the left of him. Callahan takes the shotgun snap, and the pass is thrown behind Montgomery. And it looked like another one of those instances where Callahan and his receiver weren't on the same page.
No, they definitely weren't. Montgomery was breaking inside. The pass was thrown outside. And either that or a poorly thrown ball. But I'd like to think that it was a matter of a misread.
How long does it take, John, when you are a new quarterback to get comfortable with a whole new batch of receivers?
It's not an easy process. The reads are so subtle, and it's both of you reading the same thing.
Pass is thrown over the middle. It'll be caught by Amelia. It'll be forced out of bounds near the 10-yard line or so. He'll pick up probably about 4 yards on the play, but it'll still be short of a first down. And McDaniel will have to put it away. I think one of the challenging parts, too, is that today you haven't had Mike Oliveto all game because of that ankle injury.
You take Oliveto out of the game, who has been their most productive receiver, captain of their team, and it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the receivers.
So Haas will punt it away from his own end zone, and he gets this one off the side of his foot. Bounces at the 40-yard line, and it will roll to the 42-43-yard line. 43 on the play, so it'll be a 35-yard punt by Brett Haas. And I guess it's one of those deals, John, where it rains, it pours. Brett Haas, after that 63-yard punt, he's now kicked the last 2 off the side of his foot.
He did have a second nice punt. The first punt of this half was good, but the second and the third have just not been productive.
Now it'll be be on the McDaniel 43-yard line. And there's a handoff up the middle, goes to Gerald, and Gerald will sprint his way down to the 5-yard line for a pickup of 8 yards on the play.
There were adjustments adjustment in the running game for the Diplomats has allowed them to come out with some more success than they did in the first half. McDaniel needs to counter whatever move they've had and slow this running game down.
Second down and short, McGarity in the shotgun. Play action fake, stands strong, throws no one in particular. It was going over the middle, and it looked like he wasn't on the same page as Jordan Zachary, receiver on the near side of the field.
Zachary was pretty much forced to the outside, and it looked like the quarterback expected him to break in. He didn't. The ball just went to open turf.
Zachary still had a nice game for F&M. Over 100 yards receiving today. He's made 7 catches, 108 yards. They give it to Gerald, tries to run his way right, and he won't be going anywhere. And Dwayne will tackle one of those on the stop.
So he's not going to get out here. What appears to be a 3 and out. Block punt would look good right now, but if that's not going to happen, the ball needs to be fielded. You need to avoid it being stuck inside 10.
Montgomery is stationed back at his own 10-yard line. There's a line drive kick, and it will take a bounce to the goal line and roll back of the end zone for a touchback. So Franklin and Marshall will give it to McDaniel at the 20-yard line. 24-7. Diplomats have the lead with 11:48 to go in the fourth quarter here on the Green Terrors Sports Network.
Want to know more about the Centennial Conference? Log on to centennial.org, your one-stop source for news, scores, stories, and more on Centennial athletes and athletics. Our website has all the latest news and results from the championship. Have something to say? Follow us on Twitter. Like what you see, recommend us on Facebook. That's the Centennial Conference online and on your mobile device for everything on this and every conference event.
24-7, Franklin and Marshall in the fourth. Callahan takes the shotgun snap and throws it behind John Chamberlain, his intended receiver. And Matty Callahan today he's just been a little bit off in some of his throws.
And certainly in the second half, he's been off. He's gunning the ball a little bit more. Looks like he's pressing. Feels like he's got to win the ball game by himself. What he needs to do right now, what the entire team needs to do, is to get a first down.
3 receivers to the near side right. Callahan with a gun, ball on the far hash. It's a pistol set. Is also stationed on the far side left. Callahan takes the snap. Pressure comes, and he will be sacked. And Callahan is sacked by Najee on the 15-yard line. I'll say it's the 16-yard line, so a loss of Najee. It's up another sack today.
So we've got a 3rd and 16. And they're in a position where they're likely to have their 4th consecutive 3 and out.
At the very least, you just want to give Brett Haas a little bit of breathing room.
Did not have any kind of time.
Trips to the near side, right, one to the left. 24-7 F&M. Callahan of the gun. Takes a low snap, back to throw. Pressure comes. Rolling right, throws down the middle of the field. Bamasa Baylor cannot hold on.
There's a flag on the play, which is more than likely going to be offensive holding.
Don Ponzoric and his line judge are talking things over. Baylor went down to both. It's kind of like he did on a catch earlier, but could not scoop it up. Let's see what Ponzoric has to say. And so a holding on the offense. It'll mean another punt
McDaniel. Now that now makes 4 consecutive possessions since that Chamberlain 35-yard touchdown where they have come on and they've had to punt it away. And all 4 times it's been a 3-and-out. Haas booms this one. Zachary moves to the far side of the field, and it'll move out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. We'll have to see where they spot it.
You know, the ball traveled a lot farther than we're going to get credit for because a lot of that traveling was already out of bounds.
They're going to mark it at the McDaniel 41-yard line.
37 to go in the quarter number 4, and right now the McDaniel
Rather, they'll say at the 41-yard line. And it was where Franklin Marshall will set up shop. Homecoming here from Lancaster. Turned into a bit of a cloudy day, windy day, and the wind has changed direction since the first half. We got a crosswind going across the field from left to right. Garrity hands it off to Gerald, and Gerald will grind his way for a hard 1 yard on the play. Second down and 9. Next week, Daniel will have its homecoming.
And the running back was bent over that one, and he's down on the field, not feeling really good now.
There he is again, right in the same.
So 2 trainers are going to attend to Gerald, who is lying on his back at the 40-yard line. Next week, Dickinson comes to town to take on the Green Terror. It will be homecoming weekend. Dickinson coming off a loss to Johns Hopkins last night, 42-7. The Red Devils are 2-3 right now in conference games. They are 2-4 overall. So that game will be taking place next week back in Westminster. So come on out to the Hill and take in that ball game. And Gerald will be helped to his feet. He's limping a little bit as he walks his way off the field, coming towards the near sideline. In homecoming games, by the way, Green Terror 54-25-1, won 13 of their last 21 homecoming games. So they will face Dickinson next week.
It's important to keep the alumni happy.
Absolutely. Including yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Including yourself, John Seaman. Meanwhile, next week for Diplomats, they will be taking on Moravian here at Spinaga-Williamson Field. Second down and 10. Garrity will run it himself. He's past the 40-yard line, inside the 35-yard line. And Brandon Jones is there on the tackle.
Right now, they've had no answer for the quarterback draw. The quarterback step back to pass the ball, sees things clear out, and just runs the ball straight up the field.
9:40 left in the game, 24-7 Diplomats. They have scored 17 of their 24 points here in the second half. Garrity in the gun, single man left, and they hand it off to LaValva, and he will gain enough for the first down. So they'll mark him at the 31, 30-yard line or so. They'll say the 31-yard line. Scott LaValva gets the handoff. 5th time that he has carried the ball. And LaValva.
And they're marking it short, so it's a 4th down.
Like they were going to. Oh, hold on. It looked like they called it a first down. And now, what are we doing here?
My guess is we're going to measure.
You should measure. Looked like that John Panzurek signaled first down, and if the down marker said 4 on it, they will bring the chains out. So,
yeah, I think you're right. The referee signaled first down. The linesman said, don't move those sticks. I think it's short.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. Now, here comes the chain crew out. It looked like
on the second effort that it was good enough for the first down, and sure enough, it is a first down. And Scott LaValva picks it up. It's only the second time that he's carried the ball in the second half. Big news of the day in the conference. Juniata has pulled the upset against Gettysburg.
And in 2 weeks, McDaniel will be at Juniata.
Good turnout here.
It's a big win for Juniata. They headed on homecoming.
It doesn't seem to be
Juniata Eagles getting a big win over Gettysburg. So that means Johns Hopkins, the only team in the Centennial that has not lost a game. First down and 10 for F&M from the McDaniel 31-yard line. Garrity will work from the shotgun. And there is a inside handoff coming up the middle. It'll be taken the 25-yard line for a gain of 6 yards on the play.
And with Caleb Gerald out,
it'll be Dave Shellhammer was the one that carried it there, the sophomore running back. So he gets his name on the stat sheet. Second down and 4 right now for the Diplomats, who lead it by 17. 8:15 left to go. Shellhammer moves to the right of McGarity. There's the snap. Handoff coming up the middle. Shellhammer racing his way down inside the 15-yard line, and they'll have enough for the first down. Down roughly near the 12-yard line. That's where they will spot him down.
First down.
now it's time. McDaniel needs to make a little bit of a statement here in the last couple of minutes of this ball game. 7 minutes, 53 seconds. The score 24-7. They're not likely to come back, but they need to find the pride to slow things down here.
LaValva's now in the backfield with McGarity. 3-receiver package. LaValva will take the handoff, pushes his way past 5. He's close to the goal line. And they will mark down at the 1-yard line. LaValva with his longest run of the day. It goes for 11 yards.
And finally brought down at the 1 after a gain of 11.
First down and goal for Franklin and Marshall. They'll have it at their 1-yard line.
And I'm going to figure LaValva is going to carry the ball.
I think there's a pretty decent bet. He's to the right of McGarity. Have 3 receivers set. And it is LaValva. Dives into the end zone for a touchdown. And so in this game, we have seen now 3 different Franklin and Marshall scores, 2 points or less. And LaValva make it 30-7 Franklin. That's just piling it on.
Running away from the green center. 23 unanswered points.
Zagorowski on for the extra point, and he knocks it through. 31-7, Franklin and Marshall with the lead. Diplomats with a win would get to 3-3 overall, 2-3 in the Centennial Conference this year. It would be the 600th win in program history for the Diplomats. School that's been playing football for a lot longer than I've been born, John. A lot longer than you've been born. We'll keep our ages confidential here, but I will say it's no question if you get to 600 wins, it's quite a milestone. And
There's no question about that. That's an impressive number.
They will become the 8th team in Division III to get to 600 wins in program history.
Some other impressive numbers is 31 points, 24 of them in the second half, and a 31-7 lead. That particular drive was 6 plays, all on the ground. Did not throw the ball. covered the 41 yards, and they took 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock to do it. McDaniel with 1 first down in the second half, and that is statistically credit for the 35-yard run on the first play of the second half.
That you would not give a guy who was inexperienced.
Really despondent.
Over end.
Almost have to say, hey, I think you're all right.
10-yard
And by the way, you
will not go far. And so Tweedy is the one that was there on the return. They will mark him down at the 21-yard line. About 11 yards on that return overall. It's been a huge second half offensively. Franklin,
put on the tackle.
427 yards for the game. I'll let you do the math. They had 219 yards in the first half, so 427 overall. Big second half for the Diplomats. They have used the ground game largely to their offensive cause out. First and 10 from the 21-yard line. There's a deep bomb intended for Amelia that's incomplete at the F&M 45-yard line. They've looked there for Amelia. 4 catches for 41 yards. Amelia leading all for Marshall, or for McDaniel rather. John Chamberlain's had a good day on the ground. 96 yards rushing. That's a career high for him, plus a touchdown. And on the F&M side, they've got a balanced offensive attack. Talib Gerald came out a moment ago. He's 122 yards. Callahan's pass at the line of scrimmage is broken up. And then from there, Scott LaValva, 7 rushes, 30 yards, and a touchdown, while Jordan Zachary has led all Franklin and Marshall receivers, 7 catches, 108 yards, including a 3-yard catch in the first half.
McDaniel faced with a 3rd and 10 here as they've thrown 2 incompletions on the first and second down.
Four-receiver package, Callahan on the gun. Snap is back to him, looks left, throws that way. Amelia looked like he got pushed down. Pass is ruled incomplete.
Daly in the safety, Moffitt in the safety.
And here we'll call it an incomplete pass.
Down and this could be a flag.
Daniel send the punting unit back on the field. So you got another 3 and out. And as you said, John, the statistic that looms large, just 1 first down in the second half.
Yeah, when your punting team is setting records for total yardage because you punted the ball so many times, that's not a stat you want to have. But a 5th consecutive punt.
No flag thrown, and F&M going to send out the punt return team once again.
Only score for McDaniel in the first half. A Chamberlain 35-yard touchdown. Haas moves this one out of bounds near his own 45-yard line. That's where they will spot it. So Franklin and Marshall have the football back with 6:32 remaining in this fourth quarter. It was a game that it's been a tale of 2 halves. It started out as a 7-0 game. I believe Gerald had the only score in the first half from 11 yards. And that was the score going into the break. John Chamberlain, 35-yard jaunt, evened it up. And there is the Diplomats scoring 24 unanswered points, and it accounts for their 31-7 lead. Here comes the handoff, and they will go back to Dave Shellhammer.
Yeah,
no gain on the play.
Just going to look at the field possession. This particular possession, the Dip's taken over on the 45, the positive 45, McDaniel's side. Previous possession, they took over McDaniel's 41. The one before that, they took over on their own 43, 7 yards away from midfield. The one time previous to that, they took over on the 32, but they've had a short field to work on the entire second half.
There's a low snap for Andrew Roberts, and it will be covered up at the 45-yard line. That's still a big loss right there. Andrew Roberts, it was a bad snap. Roberts becoming the 3rd quarterback that FM have gone to today.
And he's in a passing situation. I think it's been a courtesy to see the Diplomats running the ball every play on the last series, running the ball certainly on the first play. You don't know what that second play would have been, but with the third and 20 or more, they're likely to be throwing the ball here.
They're down to 19 from their own 46-yard line, 31-7 Diplomat. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. There is a delayed handoff coming towards the right sideline, and will be taken out near the midfield stripe. Lucas on the carry there.
I think that's a classy thing to do, to go ahead and keep the ball on the ground. Certainly you do it with deception in that you run the draw play. But Diplomats have the game well in hand. They've substituted heavily. McDaniel needs to find a little bit of pride here if the game comes to an end.
And see what you can build for Dickinson next week in Westminster. High snap. And there is a end-over-end kick. It will take a nice Franklin and Marshall roll down inside the 10-yard line. They will mark it at the 8. And that is where McDaniel will take over. They've got 4 minutes and 18 seconds left. This game is kind of mirrored this day, John.
It started out
really sunny, and gradually it has turned into a cloudy, overcast day here in Lancaster. I mean, we had a nice walk. We went out to the Wendy's before the game got started, and it was a beautiful day and very nice outside. But now it looks like it could rain at just about any moment. Now it's a cumulus dark clouds and a dark canopy over the top of us. First down and 10 for the 8-yard line for McDaniel. Callahan thought about passing, pumps once, now throws over the middle, and the pass incomplete up at the 15-yard line. And there was intended for Boss Bailey.
I talked earlier about the field position that the Diplomats been able to start with. McDaniel had the ball quite a few times this half, running down. They started their first possession on the positive 35. Touchdown. Next possession, 14, 21, 3, 20. 21, and now the 8. Field position, difficult to overcome.
4 receivers for McDaniel. Snap is back. There's a pump. Callahan is sacked, and he will be taken down at the 1-yard line, a loss of 7. And it's Koi who takes the sack there. That's a good football name. Koi. Kind of sounds like a Mortal Kombat character when you think about it. AJ Koi, a junior from Randallstown, Maryland.
He's not playing for the Rainbows.
You wonder. The way he's played in the Centennial this year, he could make a case to play D1 ball. 6 sacks on the year. That is second in the Centennial Conference. Trails only Steve Ames of Rusinus. 3rd and 17 for Callahan from his 1. And this will be a handoff by Callahan. Actually, he'll keep it, and Callahan will race it the 10-yard line. Now he'll say he's at the 8.
Callahan was fortunate on the previous play to avoid the safety, but he did. Brings the ball out a little bit, and we've got a 4th and 9, 5 yards from the 9.
Beginning of that.
Looks like the 6th punt of the half.
Haas has been a busy man. High snap. It's one-handed. Haas will kick it away. And this one will take a bounce up at the 45-yard line and roll to a stop at the McDaniel 45-yard line. And then a flag is in front of Jonathan Zurich, the referee.
Losa is back to receiver. They'll just let it roll.
And so we'll see what Penzuric is. We saw the kick was off. We saw that Haas was on the ground. It was a high snap that he one-handed, ran to his right, and then kicked.
Hey, I didn't do anything.
I'll call it on Franklin and Marshall. John Penzuric got turned around there. They call it a personal foul.
unnecessary roughness against Franklin and Marshall. But
as Haas was getting up from the ground, the man that was standing over him just lays him out 50 yards away from the ball, and that's going to be called every time. And in my opinion, he's fortunate he wasn't ejected from the game.
Well, but Franklin and Marshall, it's sort of inconsequential. Franklin and Marshall will be moving back 15 yards. Now they'll have it at their own 40.
A lot of things very well today.
First down and 10 with 2:35 left. F&M up 31-7. And off up the middle. The Shellhammer will take it to the 44.
We're down to about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the ball game.
3 yards on the play. Second down.
2:11 left. I'd say the crowd has thinned out a little bit with some of the nastier weather that or some of the cloudy weather that we've gotten here. High formation for F&M. No rush whatsoever for Roberts. Gives it to Shellhammer, who runs it off the right side, and Shellhammer will be knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
A little bit of a loss on that, but still going to be recorded as 3rd and 7.
Clock winds down to 1.5 minutes. With the loss, McDaniel dropped to 0-5 in Centennial play. And we'll drop to 1-5 on the year. Meanwhile, F&M will get to 2-3 overall and 3-3 on the year in total. Roberts, another handoff, comes up the middle, and it will come out to the 47-yard line or so. Shellhammer once again. Gives Shellhammer to 5 carries for 22 yards. Seen some kind of additional work loaded, some garbage time. As a total of 6 different diplomats have carried the ball today. 3rd down and 3 coming up. Send 2 men to the far side of the field. Sorry, it's a 4th down and 3. Scoreboard's got it wrong. It says 3rd down and 3. High snap. Snap is punted away. It's a spiraling kick. Comes to the near side, bounces inside the 30, and it'll ricochet out of bounds at the 20-yard line. And they'll say the 25 is, and will have the football. Just 14 seconds left as F&M off a 31-7 win today here at Lancaster. Looking down the road a little bit. Dickinson at home next week for McDaniel. Then it'll be at Juniata and Susquehanna. And finally, the year will end at Johns Hopkins on November the 15th. Callahan will throw one last time. Goes downfield. Has Nick O'Melia. Now that one will count as O'Melia makes the catch at the 35-yard line. So Nick O'Melia. The catch gets it to stays at the 36. O'Melia with a big grab, pads his stats a little bit with his big reception of the day. Now 8 seconds remaining. O'Melia did get out of bounds, so the clock won't start till the ball is snapped. Snap is back. Callahan throws to the near side. The pass caught up at the 20-yard line. And with 1 second left, Finley Smith is able to get out of it. So it'll be at the 19-yard line. One more play. See if McDaniel can get a score here. This happened a couple weeks ago when we were doing the game against Ursinus.
We've looked at the points McDaniel scored, and they've scored a majority of them in the fourth quarter. And they've been, the garbage points, the points that don't mean much.
No, it won't happen here. Campbell drops the ball at the 15-yard line, and that's the ball game.
Franklin and Marshall wins it by a final count of 31-7 over McDaniel. It was a 7-0 game at halftime, and it was a 7-7 game after John Chamberlain touchdown on the first offensive play by McDaniel in the second half. But from there, Franklin and Marshall turned it on. They scored 24 unanswered, and they win it 31-7 on their homecoming. 31-7. Diplomats winners over the Green Terrors. We'll come back with a quick post-game wrap after these messages on the Green Terrors Sports Network.
Do you know what the McDaniel College community called the youngest person ever to argue before the Supreme Court? A news anchor, TV host, a wildlife conservationist, cutting-edge biomedical researcher, video game designer, Hollywood producer, best-selling author, and winners of an Emmy and a Pulitzer Prize? We call them alumni. No wonder our alumni achieve greatness. A top-tier liberal arts college that changes lives, McDaniel College offers each student a customized and personal liberal arts education supported by faculty-staff collaboration with leadership and service opportunities. McDaniel is the best bang for the buck, according to Washington Monthly, and recognized as the best value by Kiplinger's Personal Finance. Come see for yourself. Check out Mick Live, online calendar at McDaniel.edu for upcoming events, performances, exhibitions, lectures, and more that are free and open to the public. Again, to learn more, visit McDaniel.edu or call 410-857-2230 to schedule a campus visit.
Final score here from Spinaga-Williamson Field, 31-7. Franklin and Marshall winners over McDaniel today. Carl John Seaman quickly wrapping things up here on the Green and Gold Game Show. Tale of two halves, kind of a tale of 2 days for McDaniel. As tale of it was one of those days that started out extremely well. First half, you said it, probably the best half of football that McDaniel's played all year. 7-0 going into the second half. A little bit of confidence from a John Chamberlain 35-yard touchdown run. But after that, it was all Franklin and Marshall.
It was all Franklin and Marshall. As I look at the second half, each team possessed the ball 7 times in the second half. Daniel's possessions. First possession, 1-play drive, 35 yards and a touchdown. That probably was the brightest feeling that the team has had since they held on to win the Catholic game. It's the first time they've had a lead in a ball game, not a lead. First time they weren't losing in a ball game, second half, since the waning seconds of the Catholic game. Then they followed that up with 6 consecutive punts, all 3 of them in out. Just no offensive success at all. They started out with some runs and passes combination, and then got to the point where it was pretty much all passing. Their 8th possession was in those last 14 seconds. They did complete 2 passes. They did get 2 first downs, but they're meaningless at that point. I look at the possessions of the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats, and their first possession, they throw an interception. Their second possession, they have a field goal, and I compare that to McDaniel's field goal attempt in the first half when they have it blocked. And they're not hugely different, except one's 3 points and the other's not.
Yeah.
Then they score a touchdown on their 3rd possession. They score a touchdown on their 4th possession. They score a touchdown on their 5th possession. They punt, another touchdown. They end the game with a couple of punts. Their last 3 drives were all running plays with one exception. Only threw the ball once. That was some classy things by the coach here. Now, it's worth noting that the McDaniel coach was on the staff here. Mike Hoyt was on the staff, and you know people, and what comes around goes around, and you don't want to pile on if you don't need to, and certainly not in the second half. So I think a real classy effort by the Diplomats on their home field for homecoming. The bus ride's only about an hour and a half home, but it's going to be longer than it would have been if they'd gone home at halftime.
Yeah.
That's the good thing is you got 4 more games, 3 of which are winnable. Certainly, as we heard the score coming out of Juniana, that game looks a whole lot more difficult than it did at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But the players on this team are between the ages of 18 and 22. And if you're not resilient at that age, you better check the mirror and change something. And I'm confident they will be resilient. I'm confident the coaching staff will be, and they're going to put things together. We're going to see another win or 2 this season, and I think Coach Hoyt is going to turn this thing around.
Hopefully, it'll be a little bit of a different result next week against Dickinson. We mentioned just how well McDaniel has played when they've been when it's been a homecoming type of a weekend. In fact, it's what all the alums look forward to, and it's probably what the football team looks forward to. 54-25-1 in homecoming ball games. And so they're going to see if they can get a win on homecoming against Dickinson next week. It will be the first. They're going to try for their McDaniel will try for their first win in conference play on homecoming. Take a look at some of the final numbers. Matty Callahan just a little bit off today from a passing perspective. He was 11 of 27. Didn't have any interceptions, but also didn't throw any touchdowns either. John Chamberlain, 104 yards rushing. That is a new career high for Chamberlain. Also rushed for a touchdown. It was the only touchdown that McDaniel would score on the game. Todd Campbell, 9 rushes, 44 yards. Marquise Finley-Smith, also 2 rushes for 6 yards today. On the receiving end, Nick Amelia, 5 catches for 80 yards. He had a 39-yard catch towards the very, very end of the ball game. So he averaged 16 yards a catch today. Bamasa Baylor, 4 catches, 28 yards. He made his first start today. And then Finley-Smith, 1 catch for 17 yards. For the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats, they used 2 different quarterbacks. Zachary Bradley was 11 for 16 with an interception. Went to Matt McGarity, who began the year as the starter. He was 4 for 5 passing for 43 yards. Talib Gerald was the real offensive juggernaut for the Diplomats today. 21 rushes, 122 yards, and he scored 3 times. McGarity, 6 rushes, 43 yards. Scott LaValva, 7 carries for 30 yards. He also scored a touchdown. And then on the receiving end, Jordan Zachary was a big playmaker. 7 catches, 108 yards, including a 63-yard catch that took place in the first half. Talib Gerald, 3 catches for 54 yards as well. Franklin and Marshall outgained McDaniel 430 to 267. F&M also held the upper hand in rushing and passing yards, 223 to 140 on the rushing department, 207 to 127 in the passing department. Both sides committed 4 penalties on the game. F&M 22 first downs in total for the ball game. McDaniel, they had 13 first downs. The majority of those, though, came in the first half. Once again, third down's a problem for McDaniel, 2 for 11, while F&M was 8 for 15. They were 7 of 9 at one point. Total plays, F&M had 70. McDaniel had 52. 5 for 5 in red zone chances. That's always a good sign when you're a team. Franklin and Marshall was 5 for 5, and McDaniel went 0 for 3. McDaniel turned it over once. The Diplomats turned it over twice. While on the game, F&M also got good production from their offensive line in the second half. They had 13 tackles for loss in the ball game, while McDaniel had 8 as well. So next week, it'll be Dickinson coming to town for homecoming, second to last home game of the year for McDaniel. Also have one against Susquehanna on November the 8th. So hope you'll come on out for that. Come on out to the Hill. Hopefully we'll get a nice weekend and hopefully maybe a first McDaniel win next week against Dickinson. Once again, our final score of today's ball game. It is a win for F&M. They take it by a final count of they win it by a final score today here in Franklin, and Marshall gets the win. They take it by 31-7, the final score here from Spinaga Williamson Field. So for John Seaman, Jeff Arnold saying so long, and we will talk to you next week on the Green Terror Sports Network.